you like that. It's just a show
That we
ready to
know of.
rock and roll.
But if I get really hungry,
If
I
you
can
get
just
really hungry,
reach around.
Yeah.
yes, you could reach around.
Reach around for some gummies.
Definitely.
Some gummy
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
There's there's other stuff out there. I mean, take your pleasure. Do whatever you want to do. Take your pleasure. We'll have a good time.
A lot of good things in the firm.
Yes.
There's a lot to like about this show.
Now, dude, we gotta have you come back on. Just like shred some guitar. I know you shred.
Oh well, where's the guitar? I see some
I got a
guitars.
couple. I got
Yeah,
a
well.
Fender Sonocaster back there. Then I got just a couple of the crappy ones and a Hofner bass.
Whatever the intro song is, that's I'll learn and I'll do it. And I'll
Dude,
come back and
live
I'll.
intro.
Please do.
Live
Please
intro.
But someone had.
That'd be perfect.
Do you play drums?
I don't.
Do you play?
I'm a drummer. Yep. So
There we go.
we got it. We got the set. The
teach
drums are up
We're
there.
good.
We can pull it down. We got the Mapex kit. We'll get it rocking and rolling. So, welcome to the Pushback. This is the launch episode. It is 2022. I need an applause track. I need something that's crazy. And
The air horns. The air horns.
The clap. The audience applause. Welcome.
There we go. Thank
We
you.
are here.
Thank you.
Welcome to the 2022 show. I am so freaking excited to be here. And my name is Caleb Burns. I am a host on the podcast. We've got our producer over here, Mr. Taylor Reese. We've got Coach Christian,
Co-host.
co-host, Mr. Christian. And then a very special guest with us today. We have Mr. Orie Rush.
The pride of Mansfield,
Cheers.
Ohio.
The pride of Mansfield, Ohio. The pride of Ohio.
Great to be here. Great to be here, fellas.
We are so excited to have you come on to the launch episode with us and just talk some shit about some Onewheels. Not talk shit about Onewheels.
Yeah,
but
we
talk
are
some
not
shit about
we're not
Onewheels.
affiliated with Future
Yes.
Motion.
Future Motion, please don't sue me.
We've
for
never been
anything I
sued by
say.
Future Motion. Have you?
No.
Not yet.
I mean, they're honestly like, I get a lot of the things they do. It's like, and we also have a pretty good relationship. We've, they invited me to race for the rails, so that's
that's cool.
That's cool. The fact that they, still have me there, like I figure, it's all good.
Yep.
Doesn't need to.
Yep.
And yeah, we're everything's external. We try to be safe. Practice safe riding. We can really try to helmets.
Did we say yet that you're the
warrior.
brain behind flight fins? Did we say that?
the brain. I mean, I don't know about
The
that.
brain- the brawn?
maybe the hair.
The hair behind
the
flight
Oh,
fins?
definitely
Yeah.
the hair.
Maybe just the hair, but
Is
yes.
that part of the introduction? I may have missed it. I remember talking about Mansfield, but yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, I can take the hair down. if
Orie
you-
Rush,
that's-
the hair behind.
Look at
this.
There we go.
Jesus.
This is
Look at
all.
that
This is
mane.
what this is the hair that Flight Fins built.
Well, mine it takes a little bit to shake mine.
Oh, but man, I envy you.
Do you know how long
envy
it
you.
takes me to wash it? No time.
Zero time.
Splash a little water on there. Yeah.
Oh, I can't tell you the advertising that has been advertised me on Instagram for the pros, like every hair product you'd mentioned. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to
Yeah.
click the link.
No keeps. No keeps for me.
No keeps
No
me.
keeps for me.
I'm too far gone for keeps.
Too far gone for the keys.
I mean, that beard is still going strong. I mean, I don't know.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Better keep that.
I I saw
Sorry,
this
I'm sorry.
really great meme that had like a guy with a beard. I saw this really good meme, and it was like for anybody. It was like a guy with a beard and like a trimmer or something. It said, for anybody out there who's thinking about trimming their beard off, remember you are ugly under that thing.
Jim, we're letting you know now,
Yeah.
but if you need a reminder, go
Just
ahead.
remember you
Go
are
ahead.
ugly under that beard.
oh man.
Words
So,
to live by.
Ori, today I want to talk a little bit I want to kind of just get into everyone. We're introducing the host. This is the very first launch episode. We're getting right into 2022. I want to talk a little bit about some of the things you might have in plan with Flight Fins for 2022. Like some of the things you're doing. Like you guys just launched the
Well,
mini
the
fins.
yeah, we
right?
did, which are awesome. Like honestly, the Pint X, like I didn't really think I was gonna like it as much as I did. I mean, I was like, oh, those bumpers look kind of nice, but those bumpers are pretty nice.
Yeah.
And I took it out of the box. It was at 30%, and it felt like I was like, no, this is a fresh board. Ran it pretty much all the way down to 10% before I really started to feel anything happening. So I was like, this is honestly pretty cool. It's not a replacement for the XR.
Yeah.
But I feel like it is a great contender, and it works with our current, a full flight system, which is awesome. Love the mini fins with the Pint X. That's a great combo that I didn't necessarily even really see. I mainly wanted to do the mini fins for, whole body varial and, anything else, that type of rider. But works awesome just in general for the Pine X. The GT it's extremely heavy. Was it 35 pounds?
Yeah,
is it
something
35
like
pounds?
that. Well, that'd probably be like the weight of my
Which,
XR.
I mean, I've certainly jumped 35-pound boards like CBXRs and things like that.
Right.
But that said, like, it's kind of the limits of what you can do. It's like it starts to get really, you start throwing some, stuff out of alignment at that point when you really start lifting up 35 pounds. So it's definitely going to be a design challenge, but
I think the minis will hold up on it.
So, well, in general, so that's kind of the other thing that we're considering is that, with the GT, we may need a, more, maybe even a more full redesign of, specific GT fins, specific GT fender. I think
Are you talking like different composites and stuff? Like
yeah, I
all the
mean,
way
at
down
this
to that?
point, once you get up to around 35 pounds, you kind of have to start working with metal, like some sort,
okay.
like, or at least like metal components. Not necessarily, but I feel like that's kind of the direction that it may need to go, just because it's so heavy. So even beyond lifting the board rolling and things like that, it has to hold up to 35 pounds of board, slamming into it, because that's what can happen when, as everyone knows, when you roll boards, stuff can go wrong.
Right.
So we want to protect the one wheel. We want to protect, the flight fins. We want to make sure, nothing is breaking. So once we get the GT, we're really going to take a, good hard look at it, make sure, we are, sort of modeling for the GT, and it's, not just sort of a, I think there's certainly a place for the classic flight fender, somewhat closer to the wheel, but we would love an option that is, maybe more adjustable, wider stance by default.
Yeah.
So just everything to sink into the fact that GT is a, much more powerful board, and you may need more leverage.
Right.
So,
Did your order get pushed back at all? Are you still? Is it still like a 28th, 29th expect?
28th.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Still sitting at the 28th. It was my brother and I were looking at some of the order numbers, and I was still sitting at the 17th for a long time when lots of other people, I was like, maybe, but then it got pushed. So
I gotcha.
it's looking like the 28th. Hopefully.
That's gonna be a lot for 2022, man. It's just gonna be. It's gonna be so cool to see what happens at like Race for the Rail this year, 2022 year, and all the different spots with the GT. And
the GT is going to be a killer race board, I think. I was even wondering if they would like maybe do some like only unlockable by them race mode, where it was like like only for races. It would be like they'd need like 3 people to like unlock it with the 3 keys and like press a fingerprint into it or something, and
Just
then
call it the Sonic mode, like unlimited power.
Exactly.
Just, like,
Yes, the
you know what I
Sonic
mean?
mode. Yep. Exactly.
Sign a waiver in case it catches on fire.
Because as of now, last Race for the Rail, 30 was like kind of the hard cap speed. It was like there were a couple people that hit 30, and then all of them nosedived when they hit 30. That's like the board cannot do it. You can't even recover from, even if you nosedive. And I watched Austin. The camera was like right next to him as he went down, and he tried to bring it back up, but the board just was not having it. There was just
Nosediving at
nothing.
30 miles an hour just kind of fucks my mind. Like
Nosediving at 1 mile an hour. So.
Yeah. Sometimes it's especially with skateboard, it's like the slow ones are the ones that really hurt. It's like you get some of the fast ones, the momentum kind of rolls you up and it's you actually kind of disperse a lot of energy. The slow ones, it's like you
just crash.
Just
ball of meat just slapping into the ground. But that said, nosediving at 30 is
not fun.
no joke. I mean,
not fun.
The fact that they all came out, relatively,
That's exactly why we made
no
these stickers.
dives.
No dives, because they hurt.
I keep getting like right after Christmas on Reddit, people were posting in the Onewheel subreddit. They're like, I just got this Onewheel, blah blah blah, and then like sometimes 10 minutes later they post like, yeah, I'm in the ER because I fell and broke my collarbone.
Yeah,
and I'm
lots of
it is
straight to the
It's
ER.
so interesting how long, I mean, like a week or two before you understand the way the board works and the momentum of the board, and they're like trying to excuse me, like use the momentum, like it uses its own momentum to increase your speed. And so if you're trying to jam on it, like hit the gas,
you're dead.
When
I think like that was kind of my mistake with it. So like when I got my first board, it was a pint, and it was a used pint with like 400 miles in it. It had been ridden pretty rough, but I got a good deal on it. Paid like $600 for it.
Nice.
And so I got that pint, and like I come from like skate background, and so like I'm just used to kind of pushing and all that. I didn't look up the fucking manual or anything. I didn't know what pushback was or anything. And I'm like, my board kind of seems like it's leaning back, and I pushed through it, and out here at this road out here, I completely sent it in the middle of the road, and I'm like, what the, like, why did the board just give out on me? And a second time, we were filming some footage, and I'm coming up it, and I'm going up a hill, and I go to accelerate, and it just goes, and this alley is not like well finished anymore. So, my hands are just completely
I have it
beefed.
on drone.
Yeah, and I was
You
like,
can see the
you see
yes.
the roll.
Please
and
roll
everything
that
happening.
footage in the edit. Like let's see that one.
And
I would.
for our viewers,
Right.
for our YouTube viewers,
So like, you know how it takes some people learn the first time. I definitely was not that person because I still went back and I'm like, I'm good. Like I didn't get it. Like it hurt really bad. It took like 5 weeks to recover from that. And we went out, he was testing his FPV drone out, and we went out and he's got this one perfect on camera. It's the one I'm going across this
I've
field.
seen that one.
Yeah, I'm going
I've
across
seen
this
that
field, and I just hit this little divot, but I'm probably going at least like 15, and it just takes me and goes through it. I'm like, I am never riding this thing again without gloves. I need an XR. I need something I can push a little further because this is not.
I ordered mine, so I tried out a buddy's, and when we get into the stories, I can tell it. But he was like really like pushing it, like, dude, this is the coolest thing ever. And I was like, well, I don't know about that. And then when I wrote it, I was like, I do know about that, but so I ordered.
I was
mine.
also a non-believer. It's fine.
Yeah, I ordered mine, like from Future Motion or whatever, brand new, and it took like 2 weeks to get to me, and I watched everything on the internet of it, so I knew about Pushback. I knew about what. So I went into it with some. I still ate shit like 5 times, but like,
Yeah, right.
I watched everything, like every YouTuber, even like people that had like things that had like 150 views. I'm like watching it, trying to see tips and tricks and just like what to expect and stuff. I was like so hyped on it. I just was living through vicariously through other people, just waiting for mine to show up.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty common theme with where it's like it's coming. It's like and that's just like you want all the details that you can on it.
And then you're an evangelist, right? Like once it comes, you're like, you need to try this. You need to try this. You need to try this. Like
it's such an easy sell. Like once people get it, it's immediate.
I think there's probably our friend Travis. There's some dispute about who had a board first and whatever, but like I know our friend Travis was like an early adopter well before me, and I think he's probably responsible for like 35% of the people around here, especially or at least like by secondhand too,
right.
Where he's like, I talked this dude into getting it, and that dude talked 5 dudes into getting it, and now these people talk, like,
is this a pyramid scheme?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he could get it. He could
Future
get a
Motion,
kickback.
can we get some commissions here? And you want to build the pyramid structure out.
I mean, they give you the business cards. I mean, they're expecting it to happen.
Like they give you like 25 business
with any
cards.
purchase. It doesn't matter what it is.
And I'm like, okay, I get it. It's a little shiesty, but I get it. And I think Travis handed them out. Like I think he used them.
That's great. I love it. Honestly,
honestly,
because it's like, if you got them.
My favorite thing that what's the guy's name that invented Alex or something? What's the guy
the founder?
The dude
Kyle?
that's in
Kyle.
Kyle.
Yes,
Yeah. Some normal ass name. But so
extremely.
So Kevin, when he made the Onewheel, you watch those commercials, Destroy Boredom, funnest thing on earth.
Yeah,
and I actually like, if you've tried it, you know that it's right. Like that's like totally real.
Actually got the
it's like
down.
It's really. But my favorite thing that he ever said, or that I read, or whatever that he said, was that like within the next decade, everyone will have an electric vehicle, and part of his mission statement was to create like a better one, like a funner one, so that people like you get to select what kind of electric vehicle you want to have.
Absolutely.
So you might as well fucking shred. And I'm just like, like I really believe in the electric vehicle technology.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. I think so much like especially like small towns even initially will go very much back to like cities in the past, like they weren't built for cars; they were built for pedestrians. Even the streets were like built for pedestrians.
Too narrow for modern automobiles and stuff. Yeah.
And then it was this huge restructuring by the automobile industry. There's like a whole like YouTube thing about it. And it's like I was like, that is interesting. It was like, people walk the
all
streets.
the large cities where the infrastructure is set and that's they turn them all to one-way streets because there's just not enough room for 2 cars to go and then still have parking or still have all the access to the actual buildings you're trying to get to.
Right.
Very interesting. Yeah. And I mean, I live 1.2 miles away from my work.
Exactly.
And so as long as it's not shitty out, which it's Ohio, so it's always shitty.
Yeah,
but like,
just
like,
hit up Robert, man. Get
dude,
your board
it's-
badger.
yeah.
Just get the board badger, dude. You can ride it anytime.
Yeah,
Badger
but then
your one wheel, get wet. You better pay me, Robert. That was a big.
Quite the endorsement.
Robert,
yeah.
I gotta have Robert on the
If
show.
you like
too.
going
Yes,
to work,
dude.
if you like going to work with a super soggy crotch, just ride your one wheel.
Some people are into that. I'm not gonna judge.
Dude, it has been such a boost to my mental health, especially during the pandemic, where like, you know, I don't want to get demonetized. We're not monetized anyway. No, but like during the pandemic, you know, like there's just so, I mean, I play video games, so I barely was like, that's like kind of my thing.
Yeah.
Is like, so I wasn't too affected, you know, like some people went into like a really dark spiral.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
I didn't realize how affected I was until I got out and just fucking like cruising on that thing.
Yeah, sure.
And like then we started getting like the group together, and it's like, wow, that's how I met
The
Travis.
group rides, man. Like I love seeing it. So like when we kind of what sparked the pushback for this, like the pushback just launched 4 weeks ago. It was an idea to like start a podcast. And actually Christian and I were talking, we're like, we should start a Discord channel to make get one wheel riders together. So we started the Ashland One Wheel Riders. And I went through the One Wheel app, and if you go in and like go to the friends portion, you can like search for people in a 20-mile radius.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he just
And
blasted it. Yeah,
I
he
just
sent out,
spammed
like,
everybody. I'm like, yo, we got this group. Here's a link. And I got a good amount of response back. So
That's
we
pretty
got
cool.
like
That's
10,
pretty
cool. Yeah.
10, 15 people into the group pretty
Yeah,
quick.
I think we went from like 5 to 15. Like,
Yeah.
and
Real
there
quick.
are people there that I've never met in real life, even though we live within 5 miles of
Right.
each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It brings an eclectic group together. I think that's my favorite part, is that it's like I mean, there is like common themes, but overall
Yeah.
it's like a mishmash of people
It's
that
so
would never
it's
really
so
like
wild.
Yeah, like never
so
really
Such
do
a
things together.
crossover. Because like you
Yeah.
get like, I feel like One Wheel is the closest to skate culture. If you're going to get into like the EV place, like I don't even feel like e-skateboards really fall into skate culture, because you can't really.
I think there's
You
like
can't
I
trick
think there's
them
a
out.
I think there's
Yeah.
like a pushback
Hey.
against e-skate
Yeah, with the remote.
from the analog skateboard
Right.
crowd,
Oh, absolutely.
which
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
I you know
You can't trick it. You can't get on it immediately and go. You gotta have the remote. I mean, if you
Dude.
longboard, I can see where like
yeah
you might be into
sure.
it.
I think that's more of a logical
Right.
because what the thing that you want to get out of longboarding is the same thing you want to get out of an electric skateboard.
Yeah, electric
Yeah.
skateboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like if you're riding an analog skateboard, you're trying to do, you know, kick flips, double footed ollie grinds, and
Right.
whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that-
And now here we are, finger flipping a 35-pound
Yeah,
beast
yeah.
off a garage.
yeah, and so I
Like,
think
it's crazy.
that like, you know, longboard and e-skateboards make so much sense together, because you're trying to go for long cruises. And the sweet thing about like the thing that blows about longboarding is you can't go uphill.
Yeah.
And the thing that's awesome about e-skating is going uphill.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you're like, holy shit, like I'm just riding this
And going
thing.
anywhere. It's
Yeah.
like, because they're still kind of limited to, you know, a certain terrain.
That's
but,
really true,
But once
yeah.
you go to an EUC or a one wheel,
Yeah.
you can literally go anywhere. It's like
Bro.
it was like the
Yeah.
first time where it's like, you know, I don't know if you guys like imagine when you were in the car, like the person like running along the side of the car or snowboarding along
Yeah,
the side. I
right.
would always picture a snowboarder.
I was a
It's like
Goku.
hitting
I was
the-
like a Goku
hitting the
flying
thing.
next
Yes,
to the.
yes.
I was like, I'm gonna have to step out of this car and fly for a minute. Yeah, and I had a lightsaber too. But then, yeah, but no.
Oh, so
but,
you,
yeah.
I mean, you
Dude.
were way cooler than I was. I was just a little snowboarder.
I have
like,
I have an eclectic taste when it comes to my private.
That's
private
private brains.
imagination.
Yeah, that's great. Private brain moves.
Coach Christian's background.
Yeah.
In the mind of Coach Christian.
I'll let that segue actually, because I want to get into the backstories, right? We could fucking play rock paper scissors over to start at Christian. Like I don't care.
Ooh,
Like
let's Rochambeau.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll Rochambeau.
All right.
With,
So wait,
wait.
how's this
Wait,
work?
wait.
Yeah, which
How's
way?
the four-way?
I actually don't
Okay,
know
you
what
guys- you
Rochambeau
guys-
means. So.
Okay, well, we'll go.
two, us two.
we'll go
So
with the
brackets. We're doing brackets.
Okay, okay.
We're bracketing.
Are we
yeah,
doing on 3 or are we doing?
Rochambeau?
Okay, and you shoot on bow.
What's the
Rock,
house
paper,
rules?
scissors, shoot.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. So shoot on 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll redo it then. Or
Are you gonna say Rush?
We're good. We got it. It's fine.
he's done.
Get out of here.
Lost.
All right.
No. Okay, here.
Is it best of 3?
Rochambeau, and then you go.
All right.
Okay.
We'll go on. We'll go on bow.
And we both go at the
Go on,
same
Bo.
time.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
Okay, ready?
Here we go. Ready?
Ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, here we go.
yeah.
3, 2, 1. Row,
Sham.
I did the same thing. I don't know why I even did that. I should have gone paper.
You win.
Okay. You know what? I'll go first.
Oh, perfect. Corey's first.
Guest
Taking
goes
over.
first. Everybody else has
That's
that.
right.
Yeah.
A
We
very
cut each other
special,
with this sword.
special guest. I'm taking
Oh,
that
that's
from
way
Chris.
too many specials.
I'm taking that from
me
the
the sword.
nightclub. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So, let's get it. Ori, how'd you get into Onewheel?
Definitely my brother, because I sort of had which there weren't even like really the commercials necessarily at that time, but it was sort of I was like, well, no, I definitely like skateboarding better, and kind of, I don't know, there was just a general vibe that I was like, nah, I'm not interested. It was cool, but also they're really expensive too. So
Dude, for real,
it's-
yeah.
So I also like didn't want to try anything crazy with it. You know, I thought about if it made sense to.
You mean
go
after you bought it?
Yeah, after. Well, so he brought them from L.A. He had multiple boards.
So your brother lives in L.A.
Yes, he does. Who knows how many boards he has owned over the years? He loves like cycling them out, like finding new boards, and like he's amazing at it.
General
It's like,
boards, or do you mean like one-wheel boards?
one wheel boards. Yep. Right off the bat, he was but he took like immaculate care of his boards. Like would tape the rails.
Yeah.
Like before sidekicks or anything like that, he had like all these duct tape tricks that he would do to keep the boards really nice. And also,
How old's your brother?
we're 20 years apart, so he is 55.
Okay.
Okay.
No, or 53, and still shreds, and still
Dude,
totally shreds.
I will get into
Like-
that later, but that's one of my favorite things about the Onewheel.
Yeah,
is
absolutely,
it's-
absolutely, super like way lower impact than skateboarding
Yeah,
or
yeah.
snowboarding. It's just,
Totally.
The
falls suck, but like
Yeah.
actually using the device is so much. It's like I lied to myself and said it was going to be exercise. You have to choose to make it exercise.
You do, yeah,
You
yeah.
have to like.
Yeah.
It is less. It is about as challenging on your body as breathing.
Yeah, yeah. If you're just cruising,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But you have to choose. Whereas
Damn, I'm
skateboarding,
really facing some foot fatigue right now.
yeah,
Dude, I got abs on my foot. I'll take off my shoe,
My
but
heels hurt right now.
yeah. All right.
But-
So your brother,
yeah. So my brother, he brought the one wheels to Ohio, and I also tried when he would when I'd go out to LA. But again, it was very much like I didn't want to it seemed like there was tons of power like in them, but it was like kind of terrifying on one
What version?
So I got to try a V1 only a few times, but mostly it was the Plus that he was
Gotcha.
working with. But then I saw my cousin, like when he was in Ohio, my cousin was like, "Oh, this thing's awesome!" And my cousin is like he's the wheelie motorcycle dude, like does not care at all about his body. So immediately maybe he might have had the first nose drag of maybe of all time, honestly. That is a possibility because he immediately got on and just like floored it and just tapped it, and I was like, he's gonna die. He's like, I didn't, but that was the first time I saw. I was like, whoa, those things go really, really fast. And it was kind of terrifying in a lot of ways. And like, I don't think I really had any early nosedive experiences, because I had seen that, and I came from like the very analog thing, and this felt very much like an animal you were like harnessing, like it was like you were like riding it around, and that's very much how it feels. It's like this other entity that.
I agree. What
Yeah.
what year?
So this was around 2017, I suppose.
Okay.
2017.
All right.
And it is funny because, I didn't have my own board until actually, he would always bring his boards, and that's when you could just ride them through the airport. Like it wasn't even a big deal. And there was a one time where he came, and there was through this whole string of events, we can talk about it later, we basically we came up with the idea for flight fins, and so very quickly off the bat I was riding with flight fins. Like by the time I had my first board, we had like kind of come up with flight fins, and
Dude,
so
that's
the
cool.
board had them, which was pretty funny. And I actually I made a conscious effort later I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back to, and we very quickly also had a different tire, and so I was kind of always riding a stock board, which was great because that's my whole thing was I wanted to jump the one wheel. That was also the other thing. It was like, well, I can't. First of all, it's expensive. I don't know if I'm going to break this thing.
Yeah. Dude,
Second of all, there's no really way to like jump it, so it like took a lot of. That's why I like skateboarding, ollieing onto curbs, even the little things.
They say they're built like tanks, but you still get like. I mean,
Oh,
I
dude.
got boards back here, and like I'm still kind of bummed out at my first like scratch on the board. You know what I mean? So you're your first track. Oh,
I deck mine out with all the bang bump, whatever those thick stickers are called.
Yeah.
The sidekicks.
They're amazing. That product I think leads to more resale value than any other product.
Sure.
Those things are amazing. And so I bought them. I had it all like, and just like shout out to the Float Life, like the whole thing,
Float Life
like
making up Elite
just, like,
Customs.
Absolutely.
I got to
Dude,
shout out
just-
Elite Customs because dude, they made the custom Venom. I wanted a design. I wanted to turn my board into Venom.
Yeah.
And I sent them a
that board
graphic.
Dude, that shit looks
where's that
sweet.
block?
Yeah, where is that?
Yeah, it's in the house. I'll definitely.
Dude, you'll have to get it
Taylor,
out.
like we'll
Yeah.
snag a picture up of this.
Yeah. For
So,
our
like,
viewers at home,
for our viewers at home, make sure you
if
come
you're
check out
listening
this
on
photo.
audio, I'm sorry.
Just picture Venom eating your one wheel. That's kind of what my one wheel looks
that's
like.
what-
I put like I centered the eyes
Dude, you want me to
with
get
the
your coat out
wheel.
of here?
Oh no, that's good. I can.
All right.
I'm gonna choke mine.
I centered the wheels, and I put like the Venom sign on it. I put like "We Are Venom" on it, and like so they designed them so well. And he 3D printed them. Like he custom did it. It was only like I think he was only like $65 or something like that. Like it's not very much of a difference in what you'd pay for float
Dude,
sidekicks
and
or
when I
anything
did
for fully custom.
that order, it was before my one wheel came. So I was like,
Nice.
You know what I mean? So I ordered
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
stuff. I ordered the float plates and all that, and I just wrote him a note like in the thing, and I was like, hey, my one wheel's on the way, and everybody I've talked to says to order from you guys, and they wrote me back a handwritten note that was like, this is so fucking awesome, like congratulations, float
They do
on,
it right.
whatever
They
they
do it
do.
right.
And then I had bought some stickers. I bought that skull with like the one wheel like profile. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm talking about? And it's like, anyway, so I bought that sticker, and I didn't know that they like threw in stickers and stuff, but they gave me 2 extra of the one that I had paid for, which was
that's
like so cool. Yeah, and I was
right.
like, fuck yes, this is going on everything.
Yeah.
Like this whole sticker pack and like a handwritten note. Like it just felt like, I've just been like brought into a community.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
It's so cool because you get so many like passionate people from different backgrounds. Like a gamer who like had some interest, played some Tony Hawk or something, like they can hop on a one wheel and figure it out.
Yeah.
Versus like the skater can still like adapt like things that came from skateboarding.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many culture blends, and everyone that comes in is just like, yo, you got the one wheel, and like
Yeah.
there's no like you don't even feel that same like when I was a kid and I go to the skate park, like you'd still get that intimidation from like all the dope ass skaters, right? It'd be like, I'm this corny kid here that my mom's making me wear a helmet.
Yeah.
And like, I love
yeah.
how One Wheel has helped breed that culture to be like, no, it's cool. Like, wear the helmet, please.
Yeah.
die.
I actually
You're
like
going
that.
so much faster.
I like that One Wheel's culture is down with like brain buckets and stuff because because you're going 20 miles an hour. This is insanity, and then and even when you're going 10 miles an hour,
Yeah.
a nosedive,
Again, the
it
slow ones.
could be fatal.
Exactly.
Like it's
Yeah, yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
And like you ride them on the street. There's nothing that it is so different than skateboarding. And you think and you can go super fast on a skateboard. You can
You can,
fuck
but bro,
yourself
like,
up. But like
I've been going down hills. Like, I go back and skate in the summer to keep my exercise in, and I'm like, dude, these things go slow
It's
because you get
slow.
so adapted
Yeah,
to going
it's
15 to
slow, dude, and like it's wild. And also like used to like around here, actually for the last few years, global warming, it's been like super warm in the wintertime. But like before, even when it's cold, you go out and you can skateboard and like whatever. But like if you go out on a one wheel when it's like 10 degrees and you go more than like a mile an hour, you're like, I'm gonna die. It's
so
like,
cold.
it's so
So
cold.
cold.
It is so cold, man.
Yeah.
And so just like you go so much faster, and I love that the culture. And also, I'm not super young anymore. Like, I mean, I'm not old, but I'm 30. I'll be 37 here in a bit, and it's like
Coach Christian getting up
and
there
it's
in age.
yeah, but
It's
like
been nice knowing you, man.
yeah. I've got my plot picked out, and but the thing about it is I feel like I just can't take my body. Like can't take
the slams and the
and it's like and I'm okay.
impact
I'm
of,
not like I just have responsibilities.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
I get that,
And
man.
like,
man.
it's just like
I'm right with you.
yeah. Back
3
when I used
kids,
yeah
like,
same. And like back when you were skateboarding, like back in the day, And like you were saying, like your cousin doesn't care about his body. Like I used to be like, I'm just fuck it, you know, like like oh, my board didn't come with me. I guess I'll try to run this out, you know, like and whatever, and like and you know your scrapes and your cuts and your broken limbs were like badges of honor and stuff. Exactly. But now if I break my wrist, like I may miss out on like income.
it just really hurts. It's like I could have just worn a wrist guard and not worried about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think also because it's so, you know, such a tight knit community, if when something happens, like something really bad that concerns helmets or whatever, everyone hears about it. Plus there's like a crash group, and it's like, so it's just, it creates ripples that are much bigger.
So, like, are community wide, like, and the community is massive, like, and with the world being so small,
right?
You know, with it just like I don't know, the ripples are felt by all of us, even though I don't know who these people are. I don't like
get it. Like everyone gets it because we all feel the same stoke. Like we're on that board.
Yeah.
And shout out to companies like One Protect and
absolutely.
S1.
Sure.
Like they've done a good job. Yeah.
Dave Stewart is like, those are honestly the best wrist guards I've ever felt. So like that was actually really cool to see, because it was like a truly success. I was like, you're killing it, man. And like I'm looking forward to if he puts out more safety gear, because I feel like he has a good eye, and like and that's just like Dave is a dude too. He's like very much like so community oriented, keeping people safe and like just facilitating fun. Like he really, like Dave Stewart really is a key player in the community. Like he is he is ultra dad, like, of the community.
Yeah, right. Like super pops up there.
Yeah, what's absolutely.
So I want to get back really into your Onewheel story here. Like we're ending up like
derailed a little bit.
We're at kind of like 2018-ish now.
Yeah. So you had just had the idea for flight fins when you got your first board. You sort of already had like the prototype in place. So one thing I'm curious about is was your brother like or your cousin or whoever, like a partner in that? Like
absolutely, I mean, Michael, my brother, has consistently been like, we're 50-50 owners of the company.
Okay,
cool, yeah, he's put just as much energy into this thing. I mean, there's no way I would have done this.
Save all the juicy details for when I have you back on the episode.
Okay, perfect.
Exclusive flight more later.
We need a part 2.
There will be another episode where special guest Orie comes back. I don't want to reveal it all on each episode.
So, but in short, absolutely, he has been absolute facilitator. Like I said, I would have never done flight fins without him. Probably would have got. I don't even know if I would have gotten into Onewheel as much as I did. When if it weren't been for him, because I sort of had that resistance. I was like, they're cool, but again, like,
Jesus Christ, it's too
they're expensive. Like I don't want to.
Right.
But then I saw other people doing like crazy shit with them, like sending them off mountains, and they're like, oh, the board still works, sliding on stuff, doing doing bonks and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is actually
holding
this
up
looks
to the
kind of
tank
fun.
name, right?
Watching
that says it on the FAQ,
smartest thing.
right?
I mean, okay, maybe not the smartest thing, because the engineering is pretty smart, but like I think they knew, like, the intuition that people were gonna beat these things.
Absolutely,
up.
yeah.
I think they built them so well. Like mine right now.
It's not.
Mine's not even paid off yet, and it's like, and I've like rolled it down a hill, and I'm like, I can still sell it.
Exactly.
I can still get what I like. I owe out of it.
That was one of the things that sold me. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what's the worst injury your Onewheel sustained?
I've got some bent up corners, man. I've got some chipped up foot pads. But I don't know. I'd have to think about that for a second.
Taylor killed my my foot pad when I let him try it out. It was like, it's not his fault, but like it was the crappy pint like stock foot, like it was just ready.
Oh yeah, those will go.
It was at 400 miles on the board, and he's like, oh, let me try this out. Like, I'm trying to get him into Onewheel. And it like, he's like, it's not going anymore. It's not going. I'm like, you broke my board. I just bought it. I'm just like totally messing with him and everything. But I have realized those sensor foot pads, like even on my XR right now, I had to like do surgery and tape it, because when I went to do the grip tape change, I got it too hot and pulling it off, and those little Dippin' Dots inside, that's what I call them.
Yep.
They stuck on the one side, so then I had the constant. So I literally had to do surgery, open the sensor, and I put like a piece of plastic on the right side to like make it work for now, because I didn't want to pay $150 for a new pad.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but
I still have the stock pads on mine. I love those things. Like I like the concave and the convex.
There's something to be said about just flat.
Yeah, but like dude, it just feels like and I like the way it looks.
Yeah.
So
for
like
sure.
the thing I don't like about the GT is that it looks like kind of like. Do you remember when they remade the Volkswagen Beetle?
I was gonna say, are you about to say a car?
Yeah.
Because it feels like a Buick or something. Like there's something.
Yeah, and you're like
quality
you
about
kind
it.
of like fucked up the thing about it.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Like I think the engineering and all that stuff is exactly what people have been begging for.
Yeah.
Right. But I think that like one of the cool things, like one of the things I'm working on a short design that says like it's called a Onewheel. No, I didn't make it.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
like because people are like, did you make that? And you're like, yeah, I'm a mad scientist.
Yeah, there was
Like,
that like unknown that
because it looks
factor.
like it looks
Yeah.
like it's possible that you made that thing.
It's
in your
backyard.
garage.
It's,
Yeah.
It gives it's reminiscent of that DIY community.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Also, like I understand why they're polishing it because
Sure.
It seems like with
Yeah.
Future Motion, like they're making it more and more tamper proof.
I'm not saying
right?
yeah, and
We're
I'm
at
not
that
saying it was a
point where-
mistake.
I think
I'm
the
just saying
pint was like a perfect synthesis of kind of both. Like I love the straight rail.
the
I feel like
pint.
or Pine X, either one.
They're the same
Pine X
size.
is
I mean,
pretty cool.
That's why I bought a.
That's about the level of design that I like. The GT feels like there's certain aspects that almost feel over designed to me, where it's like again you lost that simplicity of like
I don't actually
it's
need
it's a bar,
aerodynamics.
it's a
I'm
circle,
not going
it's
fast
like,
enough.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I don't need to like take off. Like there's
Yeah,
no
exactly.
like
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea that it was like like a DIY is the best way to put it together, where it's like, oh, this is a cool frame, and these things are made of wood for no other reason than to harken back to skateboarding.
Exactly.
Like
Yep.
there's no, but
Yep.
that's gone, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if one of the first peripherals that come out is a wooden.
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I
But
mean?
I think time will tell. I mean,
Yeah,
homies
time will
like
certainly tell.
homies like
Yeah.
Jeff at the Float Life, dude. Those guys are gonna tear that board up when they get
Yeah.
it. They're gonna show you
Yeah.
like they're gonna do. There's gonna be so many people that figure out ways to make it because as much as Future Motion may not like it, like they have built an idea of a board sport
Right.
more than just the
Yeah.
company.
Exactly.
themselves making
That's
it.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is-
Yep.
A skateboard has a billion brands, and that's
Dude, and
kind of
I'm all into the like I've actually not been I feel this way with Tesla too, where it's like I believe in like right to repair and like all that stuff, but then
Yes,
also at the
yes.
same time you're like, well, I also need to like if I'm gonna buy something from somebody else,
Yes,
I need some sort of assurance that's not gonna catch on fire or blow up or
Right.
something. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like Tesla, right? They're the only ones that sell used Teslas.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, yep.
And so
Yep.
it's like I get some of that because it's their ass on the line.
Right.
If I go down in a
Yep.
fiery blaze of glory, like they're gonna be
they're gonna be the problem.
they're
yeah.
responsible
Just like that.
to pay my wife my salary, like and like so if you're but you tampered with it, like
Right.
I get that. It's a lot of responsibility on them. I do sort of hate the idea though that you can't like you were saying where it's
yeah.
like they're making it tamper proof, and like I think that is smart from their end.
For sure. Their perspective.
But I
it
think
is.
that it
just-
inadvertently hurts some of our other.
It does and it does.
you know,
I don't know.
like-
I think
Yeah.
again, time will play it out.
Yeah.
It will. People are still going to be shredding XRs for years
yeah.
to come.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's no.
Yeah, I want to keep mine alive as long as I can.
That's what I see a future of of XR like owners that are just like keeping them alive, like sheer willpower, just like doing everything they can to keep XRs going because it's such a great format. Just like everything about it is like the form factor is awesome. And what I love about it is that it's like you can just look at it and you see like, oh, that's a bolt-on point. Oh, I could put something here.
Exactly,
Oh, I could put something here.
Oh,
It's
if
like,
I put a bracket right here, like
Yeah,
Travis was doing his speedometer thing. Like he bought that $16 speedometer and bolted it onto, and like
Yeah.
it
So
actually
cool.
looks awesome.
I know.
Like it's like it
That's what I
reminds
love
me of
about
like
it.
when I was a
It's
kid.
a canvas. It's a canvas
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
do whatever you want, whether it's
When I was a kid and I'm riding a bicycle and I duct taped like 14 flashlights to the front of my thing. Yeah, it's like look at these headlights.
I gotta turn them all on one by one, but they're bright.
But you feel awesome, and like dude, like even just putting like I named my board Kal-El because I like Superman, but I also like the rail guards are yellow checkerboard. The float plates are red, and then my flight fins are blue.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, it's Superman. Like
right.
here he is.
There he is.
I fucking love this thing. Like there's nothing
You
that
name
will
the boards.
yeah.
You get it come.
I think that is it. It's like like I was saying before, the board having very much a personality. It's like you have to get to know what the board can and can't do, and then within that, once you do, it's almost kind of like some sort of like it is like a pet, like a steed. It's like it takes on a personality to every single person. They
and you
name
take
it.
care of it, and you clean it.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't really clean mine that much, but you know what I mean.
No,
like,
you got to keep it a little dirty.
Yeah, you got to keep some
If
dirt
you're
on it.
riding
Also,
it,
Has to look used
I
a
also
little bit.
like to like ride it in my house occasionally, and my wife gets
you
real,
know.
real pissed if I come in from a straight mud run. She's like, "You got mud all over the place." But
No,
I got
ride
the
dirty.
names, man.
Ride dirty.
So my
Yeah, but-
XR is Shredneck, and then my Pine is Steezy Cat.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Dude,
that's
like
what I
it's
felt
something
like.
that you name. Like, and we like my wife and I name our cars,
Yeah,
but it's
right.
like, but at the same time, like I know that I have to resell that car someday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm never going to sell my one wheel.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like never. I get why you would, or why somebody could, or all the
Certainly.
reasons why.
Certainly.
I never will.
You go through pain
Yeah.
with that thing.
I'll sell
man.
my car before I sell my one wheel.
You go
Yeah.
through pain
And-
through
Right.
it. It's like
Yeah,
my
it does.
pint.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
the
absolutely.
first time, like I took my pint, stripped it down bare bones, scared as shit, because I'm like, I'm about to mod this battery. I'm about to like, I'm gonna do all this stuff to it, and it's kind of freaky. And you put it back together, and still work. Like you got like a bond with this thing. Like I took you apart and I put you back together. Like I've got a bond with you now.
That
I ain't
is on
selling
me.
you.
It's very much that, like they say, like, you know, your car becomes an extension of you when you drive.
Yeah.
The one wheel is legitimately an extension of you when you're floating
and once
around.
you like after the first, I don't know, 45 minutes,
Right.
when you're all well, maybe we have a leg up because we've done board sports before, but like so once you stop wobbling and like once you trust the board, do all the things, and you get it all worked out, it feels like mind control.
It does.
for sure.
Yeah.
I always
Yep.
tell people when they're learning to ride, I'm like, hey, just look in the direction that you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look that direction and you'll go
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
And and some of the genius in the like control board engineering, like just like when you like, oh, it knows that you're trying to take a really sharp turn, so it's not going to give you a shitload of gas when you dump the nose to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you're going straight, it knows that you want to just haul at, you know, like just like
That's what I will say about especially like the programming is like, because there's people out there that are actively trying to replicate
Yeah, I've watched some
that
videos.
software,
Yeah.
and you would think it's like, oh, you just put it in here,
It
but
is
it's actually
so
quite
well- it is
it's well
well
developed.
engineered,
I've
yeah.
heard it's also kind of noodle codey, but it doesn't matter because it gets the job done.
And it does it really well. And,
And
so
honestly-
from like the user experience, like I can't.
Right.
I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
argue with the
Well,
beauty
let's
of
hit
that.
it on with that, Christian. We'll hit you next on your one wheel story. Let's get you in. Like, how'd you get into
mine's
one
easy,
wheel,
man? So
Well, I think we've got like a finish point. Like I'm having Orie back on the show, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's no.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
do
that's
we have
basically
like
how I got
conclusion?
into it.
Cool,
Yeah, I mean,
right? Like,
that
Cali,
is
Ohio.
basically the conclusion when I saw that you could
Yeah.
you could like really just put a lot you could put the board through its paces and it would come out the other end. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, yep, I love it now, because then I was like, okay, I can do pretty much whatever I want with
Yep.
it.
Right.
And that is the
I'm
beauty.
not afraid anymore.
I saw the beauty
Yeah.
in that you can take it off road, you can slap it around, you can jump it. It's
Right.
like all that was really stoking for me. So that was kind of the moment when I feel like I really started to ease into liking
Cool.
it.
And now here we are, Flight
Dude,
Fans
yeah.
20.
Yeah, here we are.
22, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, Christian,
Unreal.
the year is.
The year is 2020. No. So actually, it was last year. I've only had my board
One man,
yeah, against the world. No,
one wheel, one man.
one.
This could go into the One Wheel just
love
announced
affair.
their stories. They want to do the One Wheel
Lifetime
stories.
Originals presents
That guy with a mole on his face in another movie.
He comes back from the big city to a small town.
Meets a one wheel and instantly falls in love. No, so mine's really easy. Or the story is really simple. Basically, I used to skateboard all the time, like just fucking 8 hours.
No,
a day.
you're a legend, absolutely, dude. I heard about you before I ever met you. They were like, oh no, this is dude Christian. He's like, oh man, it's like
So
I grew up
underrated.
skateboarding.
I missed you in the first three Thrashers.
you need
you
to
know what I
bring-
mean? Like
you also
the
need to
Thrasher
bring
skate
him back
parts.
for him.
Dude, yeah, so yeah, I'll be the guest on the next one. No, but yeah, if for our viewers at home, you can tell I'm not in skateboarding shape anymore.
This is what the ultimate male body looks like.
Yeah.
It's a father figure. It is a father figure.
No, so I skateboarded for a long time, many years. I loved it, and I still love it. I still have a skateboard. I don't ride it that much.
Come out to the mini ramp, man.
I know.
Just telling
I
you,
know.
come out to the mini ramp.
Actually, it is weird to ride a regular skateboard. I've only
Absolutely.
ridden the one wheel for months now, and I got on. My brother was like, "Hey, I got a new skateboard. You should come over and just like noodle around." I'm like, "Yeah, hell
Feels
yeah, let's do
clunky.
it." And I'm like, why isn't it going? Like it's so weird. I'm like, oh, there's two sets.
Yeah,
of
you put
wheels?
your
Like,
weight in like
yeah,
weird
in the
places.
wrong place.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, a lot of times when you're teaching people how to skateboard, you're like, just make sure your shoulders are over the bolts.
Yeah.
But then I'm like riding it. Like,
Yeah.
like leaned over. So basically, I rode a skateboard for a long time. I really loved it, and then I got kind of busy, and then I met my wonderful wife, and I still skateboarded while we were together for like 4 years, and then my daughter came along, and my first daughter. And it was amazing, but also you can't skateboard with a baby.
Yeah.
And so like she is learning to skateboard now, and so it's been really fun for me to get back into it. But I'm also like a little top heavy now, like
a little bit of a different weight. It's all about figuring out where your weight is. I feel like that's because I've seen big dudes like cruise on the one wheel. So it's all about like knowing like where it is and just putting it in different places.
It's interesting. So I'm like, I think most of my life I was like, I would say probably in my healthiest weight was like 175 pounds. I'm at like 210 right now.
Yeah.
And so like right around here. Like
Makes it harder to ollie, man. Makes it harder to ollie.
I wore my good bra today. Yeah, no, but like the thing is like, so you get busy with your, family life. And I made choices. Like, so there's only so much time in a day, obviously. Right. And so it's like, do I cut out skateboarding? Do I cut out video games? Do I cut out whatever, whatever it is? And I made like all these, like pruning my life so that I could spend time with my daughter and my wife and all the things. And one of the things that got cut was skateboarding. I was getting older, and it was like not easy to recover from. And
hurts your family. It's
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so for a long time, my daughter, the daughter I'm talking about now is 7. So, it's been a long time. And, I've had a skateboard the whole time. Like I've not gone a year without a skateboard.
Yeah, right.
Or without a session or two.
Sure.
But so I now have 3 children. So I have a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 7-year-old. And so I'm just busy doing that, right? I have a really good friend whose name is Joe, and Joe bought a Onewheel. And I think maybe Travis convinced him, or somebody can, you know what I mean? Like these people that nobody's going to know these people, but they're important to me. But so Joe, who's like one of my best friends, he was like, dude, just come over and try this thing. And I was like, no, I'm good. I had that initial e-skate pushback. I'm good. I already ride a real skateboard. Like,
right. Every skater, man. Yeah. Every skater, like
it's pretty dumb. Like I feel like I'm a pretty inclusive person.
It still does.
Occasionally there's like this weird like wall of like like the thing I like is better than the thing you like, which is like totally stupid. I hate it.
But it's skateboard judgmental. I mean, it's just, I think it just comes with the culture of skating, and that's like,
I think it's one of the worst functions of that culture.
It is for sure, because even like in the skate realm, like if you're a dude wearing a helmet, I don't care who you are, like you still kind of judge the skater as opposed to the dude with a backwards hat who's out here like doing some like,
I love
front
helmets,
sides.
but I don't ever wear one when I skateboard.
Exactly. It's a culture. It's a culture. Right. But it's a culture thing. But and it's like there's that weird like I'm so better skater. Like dude, this dude is a fucking gnarly shredder, and he's never put a helmet on in his life. And when he dies, and it's probably because he smashed his head on the concrete.
Well, and that is kind of like the whole like thing about skateboarding too. It's like that's its like whole beauty is like the sort of. It's like I'm willing to sacrifice myself to sort of like to accomplish something I'm trying to do.
It is countercultural on purpose.
Yes.
Yep. And it is a safe haven for fucked up people.
Yeah.
And I think that I think Onewheel shares a lot of that.
It does.
Too. Onewheel is cost prohibitive. Skateboarding is
exactly.
Not.
Yeah.
Although I felt like it was when I was a kid.
Right.
When you're trying to scrape together $55 for
$55
bucks
for a full complete.
So there's a lot to love about the skateboard community, all board sports communities, right? And I think that in 2022, we are more inclusive. We are more.
There's that too.
I think that there's a lot of
it's just a bunch of fucking old dudes like you who are like, man, I could just do with the helmet and some pads, but I still kind of want a tail slide every now and then. So
the thing is too is like I feel like, at least for me, I'm not going to speak for any of the other old dudes, but like I feel like you're old too. Shut the fuck up.
I am old. But that's why I'm laughing.
Yeah, but I think
I'm taking this whole winter. I'm like I'm gonna stretch. I'm going to
me too. Stretching starting number 1 stretch. Yeah,
dude, one-wheeling made me lose weight.
0.
Because I was like, okay, if I'm gonna go to race the rail, I need to be at least a little faster. So I'm gonna have to drop some pounds.
Well, seriously, like my board goes 30% less distance than somebody else's who's in a healthy weight
healthy
category.
weights.
Yeah. But so just I guess I'm making it a long story. But basically, I used to skateboard all the time, and then I stopped skateboarding because life just got busy. And then my friend Joe was like, "Dude, come try my Onewheel," and I was like, "No, come try my Onewheel. No, I'm good. Come try my Onewheel. Okay, I happen to be at your house. I'll just cruise in your Onewheel." And I stepped on it, and I was like, "Oh,
Whoa, hold on. What kind of O was
my
this?
God.
Was this like an O with
So-
a bow or an O?
It was an OMG.
So, yeah. So I had this moment. So my first few moments on the Onewheel were wobbly, were shaky, right? Like my brain understood that it was going to bounce me this way.
But
But the horizontal or I was like, my legs
because you're used to two wheels,
Yeah.
so that
and his, like that Vega tire, the normal slick that comes with it or whatever.
yes, which is a great tire to learn on.
It's so cool because it's nice and flat, but his was rounded because he had been riding it. you know?
Yeah.
Which obviously, I feel like most people. I don't want to speak. I don't know that many people, so I don't know. A lot of people that I know, anecdotally,
Yes.
prefer like a little carvier tire, a
Yes.
little more rounded on the
Yeah.
edges and stuff. But the Vega is great to learn on because it's so flat.
Yeah.
Anyway, so either way, even with the brand new Vega, like it just feels weird. So you do that bouncing thing.
Yeah, those
where
are
you're
not
like,
the muscles that skaters have ever used. It's like
Right, it's
we're
like-
used to just like light presses. It gives me where I need to go.
It's like
and
it's like
Unless you're
the
skating with trucks like looser than
Yeah.
God's green earth.
But
then-
but still, like it's
even
like,
then 2 points of contact. Like we've
Right,
known that our
right.
entire life.
it's like your
then-
it's like your kickflip muscles are activated all the time, right? Where it's like the weird flex muscles in your ankles that are like
Perfect
like,
example.
Yeah. So anyway, it took me a little while. By that I mean like 15 minutes until I was like,
Yeah.
oh, but I was just like, oh, science is. This is a special place. This is a
is
special
cool.
experience I'm having right now. And I was like, this is how Marty McFly felt, like
yeah.
and I rode around his neighborhood a little bit and I was like, holy shit. And he like warned me about the pushback and like all this stuff. And then I was like, oh, this is rad. So then I invented a play date with his kids and my kids for the next day with our wives and whatever. And we like had a nice cookout dinner or whatever. And then like afterwards I rode his board for 45 minutes around his neighborhood. And there's this road.
Was it recording?
Yeah, they're both recording. They just
Okay, awesome.
for everyone listening, you'll get the full experience. For everyone on our camera, we weren't able to get OBS running before this for our launch podcast. So every 30 minutes, we have to go restart the recording. So for the video people, you're only getting the highlights. It probably won't be a full YouTube video. But for the podcast,
You're missing
listeners,
some juicy
you get the
bits.
full experience.
So there's this hill in his neighborhood. I grew up in that same neighborhood. I don't live there anymore, but I grew up like right around the corner, which is not where he grew up. Whatever, anyway. There's this road. And it has this big hill, and we used to call it the demon drop, or the devil drop. And we would jam our bikes down it, and eventually our skateboards and whatever. And you just go fast as hell, and it's like terrifying, whatever. But I rode up that hill on the Onewheel,
Okay.
and I was like, then I parked in his driveway. And my wife's name is Rachel, and I was like, Rachel, I'm buying this tonight. I don't care. I don't care
Get the
what-
credit card. Fuck Dave Ramsey.
No, you know
it.
what? The best part is my credit wasn't good enough, so I had to log in as my wife in Klarna.
So
I couldn't even
technically,
get Klarna. But
technically, this is your wife's
my
board
wife
you're
owns
riding.
the Onewheel. Yeah. But so. Just riding up a hill that I would have had to walk up before.
Yeah, that
Changed
is
my life. Like changed my whole. And then of course, like obviously, after an hour on a Onewheel, you're like, it's either for you or it's not. And everybody I've met so far, it's been for. Unfortunately, it's like
You just gotta try it, man. It's like
I think
I don't want to call it the gateway, but
Yeah.
you just gotta try it.
I think the one thing that's unfortunate, and it's just limitations of technology. It's nobody's fault. Is like heavier people have a worse time.
Sure. Yeah.
And
Yep.
so lighter people have a better time. And
Right.
and I mean, it has like a 275 pound weight limit.
Yeah, for the XR, 250 for the
And there's
pint.
like a lot of people who are over that, even though they're not technically unhealthy, or not,
Yeah, yeah.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And so it's like kind of that sucks. I get it. Obviously from a technological perspective, luckily I'm just on the like
Well, I think probably the GT will probably
Right
be
guy.
like pretty like I think it will sort of prioritize, especially like at low speeds. Like you're gonna have like the optimal time at almost like any weight. Like as long as you can like stand on the thing, then you're good to go. Like probably.
I'll be interested to see how their tire compares to that original
Yeah,
Vega for those
It
beginners.
looks way rounder, honestly.
I know. Well, that's what I mean. Like for the
wish it was
beginner,
a standard size though. Like everybody's gonna have to retool their.
yeah. Not
This
even
seems like-
not even getting into that discussion.
We have some
We'll
ideas.
just-
We have some ideas, but
So anyway, just to
Yeah.
wrap a bow around tie a bow around that story is basically I went home, I ordered it, and then for 2 weeks I watched like everything I could until it came, which we've already talked about.
Yeah.
But when I got it, so I got it in June, and Joe was like, "Hey, like I had a problem with mine when it came, so if he's like, I don't think you'll have this problem, but if you do, like it's a problem, don't ride it for a long time." And like whatever, and basically I had the exact same problem as him, which sucked, which is the nose rode high. It was like elevated all the time.
Oh yeah.
And so it was just, I mean, they covered it under like Future
Yeah,
Motion
that's
paid
great.
for all the shipping. They did everything. Like they were awesome about it. And they fixed it and they shipped it back. So unfortunately there was like a 3-week period where I didn't have it after the week that I
got
had
teased.
it.
You got one tease.
And so it was just like the nose was riding like too high and it made my front knee hurt like hell. And none of the ride modes changed anything.
Oh,
So it was
Well,
like,
that is an interesting
so it
case.
was like it was weird, which Joe's board had the exact same thing.
Right.
But anyway, so I got it. I got it in June of 2021.
2020 or 2021?
2021.
Okay. Wow,
And then
you really haven't been riding.
not long at all.
and
And
already
then,
like
and then I sent it back.
And now
it
you're
was
already shredding curbs all the way,
so-
bro.
So really, I got it in July. I had it for like a week in June.
Okay.
And then I got it in July, and I've got 700 miles on it so far. And
Logged.
it's now, what is it, December. It's
Boy.
almost the new year. Yeah. So I keep thinking that like, well, if I can make like 1,800 miles by July, then it'll be $1 a mile. And I feel like it's totally worth it.
I love that view of it.
Yeah. So that's
It's gotta be worth my time.
Dude, at this
Yeah.
point, if you're gonna film shirts, it's a tax write-off. You know,
Dude,
Like,
yeah, well,
because-
and I love too that they're like, if you're only getting like the Klarna advertisement is like as low as $89 a month or whatever. And it's like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're only getting $89 a month of fun out of it, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
It's just kind of brilliant advertising. Like there's-
And I will say there is like I feel like that's what really sets it apart is like the dopamine curve. So it's
Yeah.
like skateboarding, there is it's like you have to. There's a bit of suffering before
There's a commitment.
before you actually start to enjoy
to access the
skateboarding.
dopamine, you have
Once
to
you're
be
like,
in pain.
like that feels really good.
Yeah.
Like even just cruising, like you're gonna be pretty unstable. Like it's gonna feel snowboarding, you're on your ass like
Yeah.
all the time. It kind of hurts.
Seriously,
like
it's
it's
like-
cold, but
That's
it's like,
noise.
Yeah.
but one wheeling, it's like you immediately hitting like
5
peak dopamine
seconds
levels
into it, you feel
Yeah.
the release where you're
Yeah.
like, as soon as the wind starts to blow
Yeah.
on your face,
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm going
and you
fast,
realize
it's
it's
smooth.
listening to your mind, and you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, it starts happening.
It's a cheat code, man. It
Yeah,
is a
it really
cheat
is.
code
Yeah, yeah.
to the experience that you
Dude.
get, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
skateboarding. Like if you were to roll up on a skateboard, you pop out of the van, pop out of the Flight Fins van on a
Yes.
skateboard.
Yes.
You throw it down, and you land a perfect like backside tail slide.
Yeah.
That's cool. But if you had to argue with that tail slide for like 2 hours until you
Yeah.
landed it,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
when the dopamine releases.
Yes.
Whereas
Yes.
as soon as you throw it,
Yeah.
like as soon as you hit like I think 10 miles an hour on your foot,
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah, it is. It's
Like, it's
totally
like-
that.
it's so good, man.
And it's funny. It's
yeah.
funny to bring up like the fun factor because I feel like it's a big thing that people. It's funny that people push like when people say like that's cheating or like whatever,
right, right.
and it's like it is like they're saying like. Because then you ask like cheating at what, like what's the goal, and they'll say well like there's really no answer to it, but it's kind of like a cheat code to having. It's like, oh, do you mean I'm cheating at having more fun?
Yeah, right.
Because yes, I am.
Well, hell yeah.
That's
Like,
exactly-
somebody gonna give me the
you're
cheat code to more fun?
100% right.
Wait, you're telling me I can skip the suffering curve? Like, I can have a six-pack without actually having to go do the crunches? Cool. Let's get that.
No, you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
'Cause that's the thing. There is like still effort like put forth, but it's like the speed at which you get there is like
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
instantaneous.
And the fact that if you go out for a ride, so I try to do in the summertime, like all this summer, anyway, I try to do 10 miles a night.
Yeah.
And so like if you go out for a ride and you come home, your feet might be a little sore, your calves or whatever until you build up that muscle. But it's as if you did no work.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
You were only working on your emotional self.
Yeah,
and your-
yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
you were out
Yep.
like doing a thing that was productive in
Yes,
in
absolutely.
an intangible way.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
And there's no downside.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
That's a great way
yeah,
of putting it.
Yeah. So I think it's a really special sport, and I'm
'Cause I've
glad
heard-
that I gave it a shot.
Because I've heard a lot of people that have said, like, you know, even coming from, like you said, really dark places, like, you know, I was full on depressed. Like, I was
Yeah.
not getting out of my bed. Like, and then, you know, I saw people riding. I was like, oh, that looks interesting. And then tried it. And then it's like suddenly, like, I'm better. It's like that
Yeah.
was the solution for them. It's like,
It's honestly, God, why it's why I feel so bad. Like, and I'm in all the groups, like, and that's another thing. Like, you get in, like, you join all the Facebook groups, you do all the, like, and you get a part of the culture. You see what people are saying, and I always feel so fucking bad for the people that like have a really bad fall off the bat and
Yeah.
they sell their board.
I have
that
a
was
fr- I have a
almost, that
friend
was
like
almost
that,
my brother
yeah.
too. That was
Yeah.
almost my
And
brother.
I'm
He
like,
had a really bad
like-
fall, and he was like, I have to sell this. Like, there's no way. Like, but then he was like, something inside was like, no,
Yeah, right.
you know, I'm gonna keep
Dude,
it.
I have a
And it
friend like
takes a
that,
bit
and
to
she
get
had a
past,
really
man.
bad fall, like a 15 mile an hour in shorts, no pads fall.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude,
They
like,
hurt.
Don't give it away.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
give it away.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing: is like you just don't understand what it does yet, and
Right.
how
Yeah.
it does it. Like,
I
like,
think for
use
me,
this
because
as
of the
learning,
skating
yeah.
background, like I hit my ass so many times, like I'm just like, oh, okay, there's gonna be some learning curve to this, but it still stuck out differently because when I hit,
Let's
and
hear Caleb's story.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Taylor go first on this.
Okay,
stuff.
all right,
So
okay.
I already lost. I'm
But
gonna
yeah,
call
finish
it.
your thought,
But
though.
like when I hit, I'm like it hit me to a point where I'm like, I'm not riding this thing without some gloves. And I found
Yeah.
One Protect, and they had the little pad, those pucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing because every time I've nosedived since then from pushing my little pint too far,
Yeah.
like my hands are good,
Yeah.
and that's always. I learned how to fall.
This
in
video
skating.
sponsored by One Protect.
No, One Protect. You want to hit me
No,
up
but it
though?
should
It's like
Yeah.
this video is sponsored by the Pushback Army.
Yeah.
And-
Please like,
and
share,
Flight
and
Fins.
subscribe for a chance to enter into our One Protect giveaway. Sponsored by One Protect.
Whoa. They're gonna send me with a bill and be like, "Hey, you're giving these away, not me." But like, my hands are all bloody and stuff, and like, it like, dude, it was like 6 to 8 weeks for me to like even want to get on my board. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I need gloves, I need something because like, if this you like lose a trust for the board,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah. For
like,
sure.
I'm not sure when you're gonna do that
Because you never
Right.
really fully trusted it. You trusted
Right.
in the moment when that dopamine is releasing
Yes,
and you're
right.
zenning the fuck
Right.
out and you're just like,
But
but
One Wheel is like a manic pixie dream girl.
you know what? I've never thought of it that way, but I'm actually totally down with that.
That's it, man.
No, but
It's-
seriously, like you never really trusted
Right.
it.
But if
and,
you're gonna-
and you never really will, and that's important
Right.
to surviving it.
If you're,
But
if you're skating,
Absolutely.
For
yeah.
instance, like when I'm skating, I'm learning. I'm getting ready to drop in. I'm gonna go try and do a blunt stall. Right? I go in. I'm getting ready to hit it. Like I'm fully willing to take the consequence of eating it.
Yeah.
Like I've accepted
Yeah, yeah.
that.
You've-
I feel like
that's
with
the,
one
if that's
wheel,
the payment you have to make.
correct. I'm gonna.
You've
try
already
it.
budgeted
Right,
for
right.
it. Yeah.
I feel like with one wheel, you're not expecting it.
Right.
Like you're not ready
Yeah.
for it,
Yeah,
and so
yeah,
you
yeah.
kind of feel betrayed. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, like I'm not sure if I
Yeah.
want to do that again. You betrayed me.
Yeah.
You fucking sent me. I wasn't
Steezy.
ready to be sent.
Steezy,
Yeah.
all along.
Steezy.
You had it out for me this whole time.
It was easy. I want to see a sticker of that. Too.
it was you.
It was Steezy
all
and
along.
it was Steezy in the library. To the ranch.
Yeah.
We'll take a vote. I'm gonna pinpoint wherever this time marker is. If you would like to see a Steezy sticker, I'll get on Photoshop and get it done.
Steezy, it
But-
was you all
Votes
along.
for Steezy.
Yeah. Votes for Steezy.
Vote
yeah.
for Steezy.
Hashtag vote
That's
for
it.
Steezy.
Hashtag
Yeah.
vote for Steezy. But that's where I feel like the difference is like, you know, when I'm on a skateboard, I'm willing to accept the punishment to get the reward of the trick.
Yes.
With the one wheel, if you're not ready for that, then like you're just trying to ride, have a good time, and all of a sudden board said, nah, like we can't do that. And so that's where the respect for the pushback
That was
comes
yeah.
in.
That was what I didn't like about the one wheel initially, is because the thing I like about skateboarding is snowboarding. It is pretty much all you. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like trucks and like bearings and wheels.
Things can
but,
break or go
yeah, yeah.
wrong, but really it's about you.
Yeah, but ultimately it's about your body. Very
right,
user error. The one wheel is a little bit different because there is a gray area. Was at the board, but it's more of like it is very much respecting the board,
is,
learning. It is very much a
It's still
relationship.
user error, but it's easier to blame the board.
Yeah, but also
Exactly.
sometimes like if your board ghosts off and just like and
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
even on it, you're like, well, that was you.
Well,
not
that's
me.
like, dude,
like
that's
I know
what-
you did
Crazy
that. Yeah.
bitch.
I don't remember. So we were riding in Travis's shop. It was all of us, and I just put the flight deck on.
Yes,
and it was
yes.
after my sensor. I had to do the operation to it, and it kept
Yes.
on sticking because I had the deck off just a little bit. and the board fucking took off and just
Yes.
like it
was
hit Travis's
crazy.
thing. Like the board just went. I'm like, whoa, I don't know what's going on here. And like, so it's got a mind of its own, which I think is that dynamic where I think that's
Absolutely.
why
I think
people sell
also
their
like if there
But
was
if
like
you're
a,
listening, don't sell your board.
yeah,
Just give it a
dude,
second
if you were
chance.
if you
Or
And be
third.
careful with your grip tape.
yeah, and also yeah, no, but yeah, here's 100 things. All right, our list of 100 things that you need to not do. Don't piss your board off by but I think also there, you know, like we haven't even actually talked about pushback yet, really. But like pushback is the only built-in feature to tell you that you're about to fucking die.
Yes.
And the thing is like sometimes you can't feel it.
Yeah. you
Or
can't-
sometimes you're like
on the
It's very
pint,
subtle.
on the pint
Yeah, the
for
pint,
sure.
yes.
And that's like, I didn't know what pushback was. If I did, I probably wouldn't have sent it the first couple times.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
But
I get
it's very
pushback.
why is my
You
board,
start
like,
getting
going
pushback
backwards here?
at 14 miles an hour
Yes.
if the wind is blowing on my fat.
Yeah.
My sail,
I
my
don't.
body
Then
is
I'm
a big
pushing
yeah.
back.
My body's a big sail,
Right.
and so when the wind is blowing in my face and I'm cruising, I start getting pushback at like 15 miles an hour, and I'm like, well, I know it can go 20 without dumping me.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Or I know it can go at least 18
Well,
without dumping
I've got a
me.
4209, or it might be 4208, and you don't like. I don't experience a pushback like I've experienced it
Yeah,
on newer
they're
boards.
extremely subtle. Yep.
And so I didn't even know pushback was a thing on my XR
Yeah.
when I got it. But I don't want to
If
like
it beeped or something though, like if like here's the thing is like if there was some sort of other signal, they're like, hey, because you're fat, Christian, you are maxing out my capacity to keep you alive. I might listen better,
Right.
You know, but
But
like,
it's kind of
changing-
nice that it's so like because it doesn't detract from the experience of it being
That's
a
true.
seamless
Yeah,
like
that's
it's
true.
that you don't hear the board and sometimes you don't even like you can kind of forget that you're even on a board. You're just kind of
right.
yeah.
floating through the world, and it's like and you
Dude.
know, but if it were to beep at you, that would kind of be like it would,
is
which
jarring.
is probably
like-
which is probably safe,
But here's the thing:
yeah.
is like if it would do it as soon as you hit 20 miles an hour.
yes, that would be acceptable
at
yeah,
the
yeah.
top end,
Yes,
where it's like
yeah.
you clearly don't know how fast you're pushing me right now,
Right.
and you're heavy.
Which I'm
I
it's
won
with the GT. I'm sure it's with
27.5,
the
okay,
GT.
that's-
You did?
Before-
That was my max at Race to the Rail was 27.5. Yeah,
That's
that was
fucking
Which
crazy.
is still, I mean, because a lot of the racers, like I said, everyone that hit 30 went down, but
Yeah.
there were people that hit 29. There were people hit 28.
The most I've
consistently, too.
ever hit was 20.9,
Yeah.
and it was when I hit it, I know when I hit it because I had this like emotional reaction to going that fast where I was like, it's my death. Like, this is the time when I die. Like you are going too fast.
I love that. I love
like,
that.
like I heard the Grim Reaper like ringing a bell or something.
Yeah,
like,
he
hey,
was
I
like-
he's like, if I were any faster, I'd be on you right now. Like,
Well, and
I like the thought of the Grim Reaper having kind of a bell
Like a
around his neck, like a cat, just like running after you, like trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Like you're going
I had
too
a
fast.
moment like where I realized like, oh my God, I've never gone this fast.
Right.
I'm going way too fast.
well, and I remember, and I'll tell my story after this.
Yeah.
The first time I went on the Pine, I went 19 and a half miles an hour, and you don't realize it until you get off and it tells you what your max speed is. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, like that was, because I was going downhill. So if that thing would have given out, I'd have been just all the way down. It'd been a bad time. I got into Onewheel through. I've been a subscriber to Corridor Digital for like the longest time. Shout out. They're probably
yes,
not watching,
yes.
but if you are,
Yep.
I love you. And
What up, Ren?
well, yeah, what up, Ren? Ren was always talking about Onewheels. They did a bunch of cool stuff on it. And then I met this guy, and he got one. He was riding it around. He let me ride his a couple of times, and I was like, done. But at the time, I still lived with my dad, and I was trying not to I didn't want him to know I was spending a bunch of money on some stuff. So when I bought it, I
major
had them
purchase.
send it to here. So that
What are friends for?
yeah, so that way he wouldn't be like,
Hiding
"What the
big
fuck is this
purchases
big
from
box?"
your
Like,
dad.
yeah, what's going on? And
So my wife
then-
would be like, yeah, I bought another pint. What about it?
and so I got it here, and I was doing something, and I was actually working. And as soon as the FedEx guy came up, I was like, I'm not working anymore. And I took it out, and I got it ready, and I'm riding it around. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. But I don't know if I can take it inside yet, because if he sees it, he's gonna freak out because he knows it's not. He knows it's not.
I'm pretty
Caleb's
sure.
Because he's
I'm pretty
seen
sure at that
Caleb's.
point too, he had seen some videos of me like eating shit with it.
Ah,
and
yeah, yeah.
so like
Yeah.
when and like he's got. I remember he sent me like a little Instagram. I was having him create some Instagram content for our company Soundfall. We do a lot of production, this stuff The whole show is produced by Soundfall. That's the sponsor.
Shout out Soundfall.
And he like, I'm like, dude, I'm like, make a reel about it. And he's like riding around my yard in it, like did a box opening in here and everything. And I'm like, man, I wish I would have bought one new so I could get the box opening. But
It was so rad. And what's funny is I do not come from board sports.
And I love that too. I've seen a lot of people like that. Honestly, the skateboarders are the people that have the hardest time sometimes. They're the ones that
They have
consistently
muscle memory that doesn't make sense anymore.
they're the one that consistently do the as soon as it activates the like back and forth and they like can't stop the oscillation.
And I had a little bit
can't correct it.
Well, I had a little bit of back and forth, but like I did tumbling, parkour, and tricking for the longest time.
And
So,
that's
like,
more important. Being athletic, just pure athleticism.
and so,
General
like,
athleticism.
I have that, like, I know my body a little bit more in the air. And that's one of the things, like, you guys are talking about pushback. Like, when you're doing, like, backflips and stuff, you have to know where your body's oriented in the air. It's going to end badly. So, like, any subtle change, like, from the board, I immediately feel it. And so, I mean, on the pint, it is not subtle. It's very much like that.
Yes.
So, and I've at that point had seen him eat it twice, like real bad. So it popped up, and I was like, "We gonna chill."
Yeah, we gonna chill. We gonna chill.
Go.
and I have no like I have zero brain cells when it comes to things like that. I'm like, let's just go. Like I'm that cousin.
Dude,
I'm cousin
it's
whatever
true.
his name
I
is. Who's
saw-
like, I'm
yeah.
going.
Dude,
like
I saw when I first met you, Ori. We had that big thing at Travis's house.
Yeah.
Travis has those fucking dope trails that
Yes.
we haven't even talked about
Yes.
yet.
Yes.
we're gonna have Travis on the show. I already
Absolutely.
Travis is
confirmed
like
with him.
a local
Yeah.
hero because of his
Truly.
We'll get it in. We'll get some
contribution.
B-roll.
His
We'll talk about it.
contribution.
Yeah, his
Yes.
contribution to the local scene has been massive, and so he had this big thing. We have these trails out at his house that he's put hours and hours and hours of work into, and they're so fun and so awesome. Can't even describe it on here without.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I wouldn't want you guys.
We're gonna get the full B-roll.
I wouldn't
We've
want
got-
you
well,
guys to walk
we've
around
got
being
the-
this,
Yeah,
like,
then you
we've
guys
got
have
the
to come to
first-
Ohio.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
want that?
Which-
Do you want to come to Ohio? Then you can.
Yeah, right.
Make the scene big.
Push-
Let's go.
In the
But-
works. In the works is the Pushback exclusive Ohio event, which we'll talk a little bit about.
So he had a little event at his house because I was like, kind of collaborating with him, and I was like, we need to share these trails.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like he has had a lot of trouble, like actually getting people to even come out and ride them. Like people, you know, it's the curse.
But I
of,
love that it's a labor of love too. He's like
Yeah.
purely doing it because it's like you just
Yeah.
like, it's like the one wheel. You just get the addiction and then you just start.
and then you just rip. And like the thing is like he has had trouble getting people out, but everybody who has come out has been like, oh my god. You know, but also like we've not been marketing it or something.
Yeah,
like
right,
he doesn't
right.
want people showing. It's at
Sure.
his house.
No, that's
Like,
the
so
beauty.
it's
of it.
liability
The beauty is
waivers,
the
liability
sacredness.
waivers.
Yeah, so
Liability
we had
waivers.
we had like 15 people out that day or something or
Yeah.
whatever, and that
No, it
was
was an
awesome.
impressive turnout. I was
Like
not
the day,
really expecting that.
that was the
so-
day that I met you.
Yeah, it was rad.
which is cool. And I had a point.
I was talking about how I have no sense. And
and actually, I think that was the first time I ever rode with you.
Okay.
Even though we had known each other as
right.
one wheel rider, because you know our two companies work together a lot, and so we've had a lot of crossover. And I've seen him on a one wheel, but we've never one wheeled together. And so that day, and you're just like, oh, I don't know how to do half of this shit, but I'm just gonna like that stuff you were trying to do on the parking block. Like I'm gonna hit nose stall, and then I'm gonna, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna jump to like a
Yeah.
one
No,
stall
you
and like
try stuff,
and
man.
like
I love
dude,
that.
the way that you send it, I'm like, I wish I was 27 or however old you are.
I just,
Yeah,
it's a problem. Like when I bought a motorcycle when I was 18, like I took the thing to 115, the wheels wide.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I just, there's something that shuts off in my brain when I get on these things.
This is what the male
So he
brain
got-
does. This
yeah.
is
So he
this
got
is
to
the
see-
expert thing that it does.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So he got to see me. He's on more cautious side, but he got to see some of that. And he's like, I don't think I want to hit myself like that. I'm like, my hand's bleeding. It's real bad. I'm like showing him and stuff.
Look,
I'm like,
my
yo, I need to
bones
go
are
wrap
showing.
this.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm always the one time I'm like, hey man, listen. I know technically you're the boss and you can just tell me to fuck right off, but I need you to wear a helmet. I need you to wear a helmet.
Everybody's been fucking pestering me about the helmet. So
I have too. I'm on the helmet team,
I
yeah.
did buy a helmet. I bought a Shred Ready helmet. It's not an actual like whatever impact absorber. I'm like, listen, it's better than any other
Yeah,
helmet.
as long as it is something.
It's got
That
the
is-
cool
that's
bill,
that's
so
what
it
those
looks
things
like
are.
a
Anything is better than nothing.
Yeah,
Anything
it's
is
a
better
white-
than your built-in.
Yeah, your
Yes.
dome.
Yeah, right. It's got the bill and everything. It's a whitewater rafting helmet, and it's meant to like.
It looks cool
blast
as hell
it.
too.
It looks cool.
and
I
you could
wear
put a
it.
little rear view mirror on that bill.
So I'm wearing the helmet now. Yeah, fuck off, all you other people. But
Good.
Anyway,
We're happy to
like-
hear it.
yeah, so he got into one wheel, and like, so I got into one wheel. Like, we'll just transition this here.
I love this.
Purely as like I was just always too broke to afford one. I've wanted one since the Kickstarter launched.
Yeah.
It was like late
Like
2013.
8 years ago or whatever. Yeah.
Late 2013, 2014. I'm just getting out of high school and I'm watching this Kickstarter campaign and I see these like marketing videos they're putting together. At the time, they're marketing it as like the hoverboard and all this, but I'm just seeing the stuff they're doing on trails and I'm like, I immediately make the collaboration. I'm like, this looks like snowboarding all year long.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could like carve up a hill. Dope. But like, so I wanted, and I'm watching all their marketing campaigns, but they're always so damn expensive. And I'm 27, right? Still don't have a ton of money.
I mean,
but
at any
like,
age, honestly, that's
Yeah,
a lot
right.
to pay for something.
It's
anything,
two grand for a device, and then
You
they had
could
the
get a
pint coming
car
out.
for that.
Right?
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Yeah.
That doesn't care about whether it's cold or rainy
Yeah.
outside.
Right.
Yeah.
So shout out to a homie in Cleveland. I linked with him. He rides with like or did at the time. He rides Ukes now, but he rode with like Robert and all those guys up there.
Awesome.
And he sold me a pint used, like been on trails and shit.
Is that the
for
one you
like,
still have?
yeah.
Yeah.
I've modded the crap out of it because the battery was kind of rough after I got it.
Yeah.
Like it would
Yeah,
die
yeah.
at like 10%. And
That's the thing. Nobody's gonna want my.
yeah.
Except for you. Except for you.
Yeah, except for
And that's
me, yeah.
important.
I modded it, put a cord in. Like again, I'm not afraid to try things, and I wanted to get this thing going. So I had all that, and like I always like when the Pint came out, I'm like, ooh, it's smaller, it's more nimble, it reminds me of a skateboard. I'm like, cool. I actually kind of like that. I preferred to the XR until I got to ride an
The
XR
things
without.
you talk yourself into.
Yeah, right. Until I get to ride an XR without a Vega on it.
Yeah.
The first time I rode an XR without a Vega, I'm like, I need this
Yeah.
because I got the carve back in
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the
yeah.
Pint, and so but anyway, yeah. So I got into Onewheel, and at this time we own a business and we're using cameras and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is a moving gimbal.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I can
This
I
is
can
a
write this
oh,
off.
This is a write-off.
Yeah.
That was how I used to get it through airport security. You just called it. It's like, no, it's a dolly. It's a
Yeah, right. It's a
measured
camera dolly.
Yeah.
So I finally had an excuse to buy
can't
one
anymore, though,
and this
right?
is
no.
I don't know if I ever sent you this video, but what I did is I didn't tell my wife what I was doing, and so I'm always buying shit on Facebook Marketplace, and I go.
I feel like if I were a wife, that would be like, there's a lot of things that a dude could probably buy. I'd be like pissed off about, but a Onewheel, it's like, I think maybe
So-
on some level I'd be okay with it.
She's like, so like I
At least he
didn't.
gets fresh air.
I didn't
Yeah,
tell.
exactly. Yeah, it's like, well, at least he's outside. That's fine.
So I didn't tell her what I was doing. And like I get home and I got the Pint, and she's known like I've wanted one forever. So like she knew that was there, and it was close to my birthday. It's end of 2019, getting close to December 6th, my birthday coming through, and I'm holding the Pint. I have my phone on selfie mode, and I'm like, hey babe, turn around, and I hand her this thing, and I'm like, oh, you got me a birthday present, and I'm like, oh, you got me a Pint. Oh my gosh, I always wanted one. And she just looks so confused the whole time, and I'm like, I always wanted a Pint. Thank you so much for knowing. And then like I take it outside and go like ride it around. But that was my journey into beginning the nosedives and all that. And then like
What year was that?
end of 2019. So I have not had the chance to ride them very long.
Dude,
But-
I have soaked up, I have relished every moment on that thing. They're like literally at my house in the summertime when there's nobody to ride with. Like, thank God for Travis.
Truly.
I mean,
Yeah.
like that dude has had
He
much
is-
of an impact on the
He
community.
has Dave Stewart energy. It's like the
Dude.
same sort of like, just
And
like he
he's-
wants to see people stoked.
I think he's 47. Like
He's up there, man.
he's
And
the
that
difference
dude-
between you
yo,
and me.
When we get Travis on the show, I'm gonna go in and get some B-roll of Travis himself because like
He's like
that
1,000
dude
years old. Yeah.
That dude tries things, but he's still out there trying.
No, dude.
stuff.
I've
He's-
seen that guy. I've
he's
seen
bought-
that guy eat so much shit.
Yeah.
And like but here's the thing that's great about him is like he is such a he literally bought a new pair of flight fins so that he could hand his other ones
Yeah,
down.
he's so gen.
That is, yep.
Like,
that's,
he's
like
generous.
that is the pinnacle of
the energy.
Travisness.
Yep.
There's another guy in our community and he bought him a Onewheel
Yeah,
because he knew that would be the only way this
Oh,
dude
wow.
would actually do it.
that's
And
incredible.
like he paid him for it or whatever. But,
Yeah,
but like
but
the point
still,
is
though.
like he fronted $2,000 to share the experience
Yeah,
with somebody
right.
that
Yeah.
he cared about,
Yep.
which is a big deal.
That is a big deal.
And I met Travis also through Joe, who like Travis is an auto mechanic.
Yeah.
I make websites. Like it's you know what I mean? Exactly. Back to that point from like an hour
did we
ago.
get here?
Yeah.
Like it's such an eclectic group of people
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the shared love of
And it
like
doesn't
something
matter.
really special.
Every
Yeah.
single one who gets a Onewheel,
Yeah.
begins to get passionate
and
about
like,
it, nothing
yeah,
else.
yeah,
So,
and yeah, and he's got anyway. I don't want to like sing Travis's praises too much, but like he's been really influential for me and a really
Yeah,
big
he's
part
a
of the
dick.
community.
dude,
And,
you're
like,
gonna
what a terrible
he's a
person. Huge
fanboy.
piece of shit.
When we
Wow.
have Travis
Yeah.
on the show, don't
have him on the show.
all right?
No, it's
like
terrible.
don't get
but
your
here's
dick
the
hard.
thing is like he likes to ride as much as I like to ride, but he's been riding for like 2 years longer or like a year longer or whatever.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is. He's got like on his XR, I think he's got like 1,200 miles or something on it. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
And
He
so,
caught the sickness heavy for
dude,
sure.
yeah, and so the cool thing is I ride every night by myself, but like. In the summer, like in the warm weather, like 3 nights a week, he's like, "You ride at night?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I'll be at your house in 10 minutes." You know, like, and
Yeah,
we
Scott,
go, we
bro.
go like 10 miles
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
and he's awesome that way. But then when I didn't have anybody, when he wasn't a part of my story,
Yeah.
I would go out and I'd ride, and then I'd come home and be like, well, I got 12% left. And then I would just like drink a beer. I have a driveway that's like a couple 100 feet long.
Yeah.
And I would do figure eights in my driveway for 5 miles.
That's great.
And just drink beer
I love that.
in
I
my
love it.
driveway.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I'm like, I would say probably of my 700 miles, I would say probably 200 of them are in my driveway in a little figure eight.
That's
just drinking
awesome.
beer.
Well, That's so good.
And Travis has the bigger battery in his. He'll ride from his fucking house.
Yeah, he
into
lives
town,
like-
which is like
He lives like,
that's
like
kind of a
several
kind of a float.
miles away in
Yeah,
the
he's,
country.
How long
he's
is
a
it?
few
How
miles
far
from
is it?
here. He's a few miles from here. So into town, he's like probably into where Christian is. He's probably like 3 miles.
When you
or
don't
so.
know where I'm at, but like, so you know when you go when you leave his house and you go on that road and then you
Yeah.
hang a left to go back
Yep.
toward Mansfield.
Yep.
If you go straight instead, like 1 mile.
Oh, okay.
That's like where I live.
Oh, okay.
And
Nice.
so like, but that whole
Yeah.
road, he's like chill, like just
He's
cruising.
got to make that
riding.
big
Yeah, yeah.
intersection on
Yeah.
the one wheel. And
Yeah, he takes the highway on the one wheel, and he likes to ride with his lights off.
We do
Like, he's
not.
just like-
We do not advocate that.
Yeah, no application of it.
yeah, that's what like it's you see tons of those people that's like, no, I'm gonna do like a 60-mile ride. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh
it's
my.
crazy.
Like
Travis and I have
it's
talked.
so
I think it's
cool,
spring
but
or
it's
this
also
summer
like
because I got the JW in my XR too.
Yeah.
Because again, like I'm always bargain hunting on Facebook. I got my XR for like 1K, something like that, and so I went ahead and I also found somebody who sold me a JW for like 300. And got it shipped in. I put it in. So Travis and I are gonna have like a battle off to see who can go like the longest range.
Nice.
And we'll just do like a
Nice.
full day ride and see who can like.
Dude,
run
I
it.
have
Me
to
on my
say-
stock pint whenever I go
No,
ride with you guys,
yeah.
and I'm
He's
like,
like,
well, I'm 8 miles in. I'm dead.
Dude, and I've got the stock XR, which is like obviously like better than the pint. I'm sorry.
Still, he's
Next
always
season,
he's
yeah.
always hitting me
You're
up.
not sorry.
When it's
But, like, not
warm.
sorry.
On those trails, I can get 6.1 miles in, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like I'm
I
dragging
get-
it back to the car at that point, you know, like
Yeah.
whereas Travis is getting like
Yeah,
even on his like
that dude.
whatever.
Taylor's getting like 2.
I get like 2 or 3 miles max on the stock pint, so I'm always hitting up him because he's got the bigger battery in his pint.
I got
I'm
the
like,
quart in
bring
my
your pint,
pint.
bring your
Bro, can
pint.
I-
He's like, can I have your pint? Can I have your
please?"
pint? Yeah. I'm like, whatever. Yeah, sure. Which is a good thing too, because you can lend these things out to people because like they are built like tanks. You want to hit the you want to stop start that again
Actually, can
You
we
can
take
hit-
a quick break? Is
Yeah,
that possible? I
yeah.
gotta have a piss real
I would
bad.
yeah.
also like to piss.
for sure.
Piss break.
This is gonna be the world's longest podcast, dude. This is like,
the sound.
yeah, yeah.
Where's the?
Dude, hit there. All right, so we're back. We had a pee break, and we're gonna wrap this episode up because I know it's been going for a while. We got
been
the
a while.
one wheel stories in, but this
We're
is
gonna
the-
have
yeah,
episode
this-
2 might have to be the same cast.
Yeah.
To, like,
Honestly,
Part
yeah.
down. I'm down. Yeah. Part
Well,
two.
and like
We can make a
Orie
two-parter.
is the
Yeah.
special guest, but honestly, anytime Orie wants to come onto the show, by all means, bro. Like,
He could
I'll
just
let
be a
you
regular
know. Be
special
like,
guest instead of a special guest.
he's like, we have the regular special today, and then we
I
have
don't
the
know if I'm okay
special
with
special.
downgrading. To...
How about every third Thursday you can be the special
That's
guest?
special enough for me. I'm okay with that.
So yeah, I wanted to like just wrap it up, like going into like 2022. Like, there's some really cool things coming about. Like, this idea for the pushback came to like, it's been stewing for a while. For me, like to be a podcast about just
Sure.
one wheeling, like just like I listen to a lot of shows, like I was saying, like the 9 Club,
Yeah.
and like in that skate culture, or like Joe Rogan podcast, where it's just real open concept of talking about the culture, one wheel, and this. And so we were going back and forth, and I'm like on a flight to California to film a wedding, and I came up with some stupid name like, oh, let's just call it like
The wiener cast.
like the shredder, like the shredders, one of those like stock stoke words or whatever. And then he's like, what about the pushback? And I'm like,
Guess what just clicked into place? Yeah.
the pushback.
I got that text on the other side, and I was like, no.
Well, because it's a complex. There's a lot of things wrapped up.
Mind
in that.
mind you, I was also a couple beers in between flights.
As you should be.
You know, I'm like,
Every
what else
time
am I going to
there's
do
a
with the layover? Like,
you need to be, don't puke on the next plane, but you need to be like right before that.
Yeah.
If there's
Right.
a layover.
Right.
Yeah.
So he hits me up with this like the pushback. I'm like, dude, that's it. Like, you know, it's such a one wheel.
I thought it was really good too.
And
then
so
he sent
props
it
to Taylor,
directly to me, and I was like, that's the one.
it.
That's
yeah,
it.
That's the one.
You're texting me on my next layover, and I'm like,
That's the one.
and he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude, my wife said like this is amazing. Like, so
Oh yeah,
we had
yeah.
this idea.
My wife was like, "You have to do this.
Yeah.
This
So-
is your place in the
Right.
universe. It's on the
Everything
other
in
end
your
of a
life has
microphone.
led to
Yeah.
this single
Yeah.
So yeah, we came up with this idea, and then I'm like, well, what if we just like let's start a page, an Instagram page, to see what happens. And then I'm like, well, I want to make it like culture based. So I'm going through the name, squad, pack, this, that, whatever. And I'm like, oh, the Pushback Army, and like go with that vibe. I started it, and we're a month in, and we're like 300 followers already.
Yeah, man.
Just organically
pretty good.
reposting, trying to connect with
pretty
the
well.
people.
Dude,
And,
cheers, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited.
Cheers.
And
Cheers, mate.
Wonderful.
getting to film with you guys, like coming across and being able to film with flight fins, like with the Soundfall, and get some videos done for you. And like it's really cool to have a bunch of passionate riders come together and be like, let's do this, make this thing. So we got some really cool things. I want to talk about it, get you guys' feedback, and this will be podcast feedback too. So we're getting custom hoodies made for the winter run of clothing, and we're gonna run this like we're gonna run this in seasons. So we're gonna do like maybe 10 to 12 episodes per season, take a little break, go into a new season, and launch merch for that specific time during that season. And for the hoodies that we're gonna do, what we're gonna do is I got with a custom designer to make the clothes. Like, so these are made from scratch hoodies. It's all Pushback branded, like tagged, labeled, the whole deal. Like we're not slapping on a Gildan shirt and calling it a day. We really wanted to put quality into it. But the other reason I wanted that is because I want to put, we're going to put Velcro patches on the sleeves, right? And it's going to come with a stock patch that is like, welcome to the Pushback Private. And it's the OG Pushback
The one that
patch.
we posted, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So the one that I posted. And then, so they'll get that card, they get the patch with the hoodie. And then what we're going to do is we're going to release challenge badges. And we're going to make a custom design with only a certain amount of runs that like you have to submit the video to either unlock it for purchase, or we'll give them away to like the first
That's awesome.
so
Love
many
that.
people.
Love
So
that.
they can like swap it
also
out and be
love
like,
that.
yo, I repped it. I did the challenge.
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
made it done. And it gives a video submission. So it's just like, it's something to grow the community that I think it'd be like, I don't know. I think it's really cool to like,
Because people already responded real well to the badges when it was implemented into the Onewheel app. Like
Right.
Totally,
like
dude.
Right.
that's,
Gamifying things is a
yeah.
really, really good way to.
That's even more dopamine. That's the like a surefire way to just be
achievement
like boom,
for
boom,
Right.
boom.
achievement for
Just like-
achievement's sake.
Yeah,
and you get to
absolutely.
rep your shit out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Like, dude, I love it.
and then to take it and make it something
Badass.
physical. Cause I'm like, well, you get to keep the patch. Like you
Yeah.
get the OG patch and then you can collect the patches.
And you
we'll-
can put it on a hat. That
Yeah,
has the
right.
fucking, you know, like
so we're
all
gonna
that-
work
those-
with we're gonna
those
work with
patch
them
hats,
later
yeah.
on to create some like patches on hats,
yeah.
patches on t-shirts, like whatever, however it works. And if the community responds well to the hoodies,
Yeah.
we'll make more stuff like
I'm
jackets.
seeing like
and,
I'm seeing like I'm seeing like denim jackets. I'm seeing like trucker
right,
hats.
right.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
like
I
the
think that's
whole
such a
goal,
good idea.
like the whole goal is just kind of to make like
Build a
ideally,
community?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
community, but also
Yeah.
like we wanted to kind of like we know like as owning a production company, we know how to make content look good and like feel good and sound good, and I don't really feel like
see.
yeah, right. I don't feel like
How's this sound?
there's
Do I sound really good right now?
perfect. I don't feel like the Onewheel community has a lot of that to consume right now. There's a couple people that do it really well, and that's it. Like there's not a
Yeah.
ton of people making
And the people
it.
who are doing it well are doing it really well. We've
Exactly,
We've
right.
shouted out most of them
Yeah,
in this
right.
podcast,
Yeah.
but like or many of them. But I agree. Like I think it's an open space, not in the markety kind of way, but like in the like there's a need.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what for me it was more like, well,
Yeah.
I'm super passionate about it, and we've started other podcasts in the past, and I'm always like, I just kind of get burnt out because I don't want to talk about business or stuff.
Right.
I could talk about one wheels all day. Obviously, we're like 2 hours into this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
So
there's
Is it
so much
tomorrow
stoke
yet?
surrounding it.
Yeah,
Surrounding it.
So-
There is no time passage.
Yeah,
in this
time is a
place.
flat
It
circle,
feels
my
like
man. Yeah. One wheel time is a flat circle.
But one thing I wanted to bring up, like especially while I got you on the show, Orie, like of some events probably that are happening in 2022. And I wanted to see like what's on your radar for events in 2022, like what's happening in one wheel community.
sorely disappointed. I mean, in a lot of ways, because I mean, we're not even sure really how Race to the Rail is going to work. I assume they're probably going to do the qualifiers thing again, but man, there are so many underground racing circuits and like Strava runs that are coming up. So it's really hard to say what it'll look. I mean, it's going to be dense, that's for sure. There's going to be tons of opportunity for everyone to get involved. Again, it's going to be like kind of just more layers of qualifiers, that you're going to get people that will kind of rise through the ranks, if you will, of like, sort of, well, this person is really fast, and they're just going to kind of continue to advance until, it gets to Race for the Rail. Probably. Right. I can very much see that happening. I kind of like that they had the 3 different qualifiers, main qualifiers. I love that you could run your own board for the pre-qualifiers, basically.
Yeah, and then you're
on stock.
Riding the stock.
I honestly love that dynamic. At first, I was very like anti, like, I mean, no, like let's take the board to the limit.
Yeah.
But
so
on some level, it's kind of it's interesting. Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Again, I went pretty much straight to flight fins, straight to a custom tire, and there was a certain point where I was like, you know what, like. I honestly feel like I didn't get to know the board. It was like I skipped steps, and so I'm back. I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn nudges.
Do you think they're gonna do it all in the GT this year?
What?
Do you think they're gonna do it all in the GT this year?
100%. Yeah.
So
Well, they don't have the XR, so.
So in that case, do you think that everybody who does the qualifiers needs to qualify on a GT?
I don't think so, because I think there's enough. I think as long as. That's interesting. That's an interesting question. I didn't think about that. I probably would say so though. They'll probably have the stock races will turn into basically stock GT races.
GT races.
I would assume that's what'll happen, because I mean everything about it is a race
makes
board.
sense. Yeah.
They actually did everything that I like a rounder tire when I'm racing. I like that sort of.
Dude, that tire seems fucking awesome.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Honestly, but because that sort of the video with Tyler James when he got to ride it, I was like, oh, that tire looks pretty squirrely. Actually, that is not a Vega. Like that is a squirrely ass tire. And I think between that and just its sheer power, I think it's going to be an incredible race board.
I think they definitely listened to the community.
Yes, they did.
Also at the same time, still taking things away from the community. You know what I mean? Like, and that's only the modification things. But you got to look like Apple did the same thing, and they still have a great product.
Here's the thing though, is no matter what they do, no matter what Future Motion does to sort of lock that down. It's gonna get the more they lock it down, the more it's gonna open up. Like it's not, and of course they're gonna absolve themselves from any legal responsibilities, which makes perfect sense. But there's like the modding scenes, in my experience, are super punk rock, and so the more you lock them down, the more they're gonna break out.
Like, anything of that.
Yeah,
I think that honestly they're really fighting the wrong battle, because that is why they think that if a bunch of people get hurt, like we're gonna lose popularity, people are gonna be afraid of the board, but that happens anyway. People have eaten serious shit.
Look at One Wheel Marketplace.
How many collarbones have been broken? It's astronomical, but there's no loss in popularity because it's so fun. And part of the reason is because you can make it your own board. Right. It doesn't have to be this board that they give you. So I really feel like they're fighting, because again, I feel like the answer is just like, if you mod your board, then it's on you at that point. And I think anyone that does it would accept that. Like they would be like, I got into my board. It's
think there's 100% agreement in the larger community that if I crack this bitch open,
it's on me. It's on me because I wanted to.
Like, it's your responsibility at that point. It doesn't matter how much you paid for it. Like, it's not on Future Motion's plate. But
and like mine's still under warranty, so I'm a little bit leery because I've already had to have one warranty replacement.
Right, exactly.
Sure.
And so I'm like, but I swear to God, when that warranty's up.
Well, the fact that they don't even carry XRs anymore, it's like, that's definitely going to only be, a limited time type of thing. But again, I also think that the aftermarket community will really pick up and be like, no, we're going to support XRs. Like, we want XRs to keep going.
I agree.
And that form factor
especially
will
because
live on forever.
And there are so many of them out in the wild now.
Tons.
And I mean, I don't know how many they have in stock, like ready to be built at Future Motion. I'm sure it's plenty.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I know they've
they're not
stopped-
selling them.
like,
Yeah,
I
they're
know
stopped
they've-
selling them. Yeah.
Oh,
so-
they're done
They're
selling.
Yeah,
Done
no,
selling them.
I thought they were done producing them.
No, not even. No, they
You can't
sold the
buy it
last
anymore.
XR.
See, well,
like,
and
last
they
week.
kind of learned from their last mistake when they bumped up to the XR, where they're like, we put a new one on the market, now we have a shitload of pluses or whatever it was before that, like that nobody wants, because why would you? You know, and like we can't sell them at half cost because then we'd lose money.
Right.
You know, and so I think they made the right call of like waiting 4 years or whatever it was. Of course, I feel like a huge piece of shit because I just bought one, and like
never. No,
but like the thing is like
you got in.
Mine's not even. Yeah, that's how I will feel. But I'm gonna buy that battery mod. You know.
Yes,
right.
yeah.
And like I'm gonna do the whole thing and like whatever, and it's gonna be amazing. But it's gonna be a long time until I can I guess justify a purchase of an XR. I mean of a GT.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think also like if I buy a GT, it'll be my street cruiser.
Yeah.
Because I think it looks like I know they're like all their advertisements. Like, look, you can drive it in the sand, you know. And it's like like whatever their advertisements are or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I get it that's more like that's you know, that's who you're sort of. Those are the people who were left out last time,
right.
And so they're the people. Those are the people who had to mod their shit last time.
Exactly.
Well, and that
yeah.
thing's gonna rip hard on trails.
Yeah, but
so
and
hard.
I totally agree. But I think what I want to do is beat the hell out of my XR on a trail, and then ride my GT, my Cadillac,
Exactly.
on the street, and I'm gonna go like a 20-mile ride and be like, yeah, this baby just purrs all the way through. You know, like
No, that's totally valid. Absolutely. Yeah.
But I think I'll, even when I do buy both, which will probably be, don't tell my wife, but like February maybe.
You got some cabinets to make.
Yeah. My birthday's in February, so probably then. Yeah. But but you know, but seriously, like I'll probably ride that one just on the street and just get the benefit out of the stock components.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that, because I with my fat ass on the board, I can only go 14 miles, literally like 14.1, and it's like
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and so, and I know they're like, I have another friend who rides who's like 155 pounds, and that dude will go like 10 weeks without charging his board.
Never getting done. But,
yeah, all night long. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go another 500 miles, you know. But yeah, so I'm a little jealous there. But like, I think that my XR is my trail baby. You know,
For
I just
sure.
fucking love that thing, and I'll get a GT just to cruise.
well, awesome. I think this is probably a really good conclusion point of this podcast.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep the people too long because we've been spitting about how passionate we are, but you all know, like you're in the converse. If you're listening to this and you're at this point, you already know that like you're in the conversation and like, like, and you're ready to tell your story. So like, we want to have more guests. We want to have more people on the show.
They don't
See
all
you in
have
the
to be
comments.
famous
We'll
like
see you in the
Orie.
See you in the comments. Yeah, right. We got the super famous person here, right?
Kicking it off right with Tony Hawk.
Dude, I think we need to get like we got a sound bite. We got a major applause, right? Applause for the first episode.
Let's hear it. Perfect. Yes. I love
This was the launch episode of the 2022 year.
Push
and
through that pushback, people.
Yeah.
pushback.
Or
That's
don't.
right. Ride the
Or
limits.
don't.
Yeah,
Or
right.
don't. No
Or
dives.
respect.
No dives.
Respect the
Pushback.
pushbacks.
That's right.
Have no
It
dives.
depends
No
on who
dives.
you are and how your helmet is.
Yeah, right.
If you have a piece of shit helmet, like
Maybe respect
Hey,
a little
whoa.
bit.
Yeah.
Shred ready. You didn't hear that. Your helmets
Shred
are
ready when
phenomenal.
he's got his bill sticking out of his fucking eyeball, and there's like eyeball jelly gooing out of his face.
These are safety rated, right? It's in the guarantee.
Dude, I'm gonna get a Walmart like Mohawk helmet, like the rubber Mohawk. Yeah,
But yeah, we
Dude.
got plenty of more episodes, dude. It's been
2022
awesome
is gonna
hanging
be
with you.
hot.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hot.
It's gonna be really cool.
2022 is gonna be hot.
We're gonna get some more rides recorded at Travis's. People are gonna get to see that. Like I said, in the works, we got some Ohio specific rides. It's gonna be a good
Dude.
time.
Obviously, like, subscribe, all that shit.
Yeah,
but,
follow
but-
us if you want to be a part of the
But like,
coolest culture
seriously,
in the
just
community.
join the
But ultimately,
community.
just ride.
Yeah, just
Ultimately,
ride.
Go out and
just
ride.
join.
Go do-
ride and
go
buy
do
some
cool
flight
shit.
fins.
If you're in
Join there
Ohio, I
and die.
mean, come to Ashland or Mansfield. I don't know why you would, but please.
But if
come
you
ride,
are and
come
you
ride,
do,
Welcome to BFE.
Will-
These guys getting here couldn't even find the studio. You know, like I'm so far out in
I was like,
cornfields.
my dude, GPS couldn't figure it out. If Google can't figure it out, how do you expect a guy like me to?
Yeah,
figure
find
yeah.
us. I challenge you. That is the first challenge, is to find us.
it? You get a special.
I even gave you the
get a
town
special
names, but-
pass.
Yeah, you get a pat for finding us. Yes.
Somebody call Liam Neeson and let's figure this out. But
He wants his family back.
yeah, right. I think it's so cool to see even that like out in bumfuck Egypt here, we can get riders together, even talk and start a podcast, which I hope it's valuable to the community. I hope you guys appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you on the next episode. Let's cue that. We'll call it the outro track. Same as the intro and outro track, right? And there we go.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Rock on, boys.
Goodbye.
And girls.
Be well.
We'll
Be
see
well.
you in 2022.
Don't die.
Or it is 2022 when the time comes out because it's released on New
Probably.
Year's.
Yep.
So, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Look out for that merch.
Look out for some merch.
Coming to
Look
you
out for the
soon.
patches.
Or don't.
Get you some flight fins.
Or
And,
do
again, I'm Caleb Burns. This is producer Taylor Reese. That's Coach Christian. He's not getting away from it.
My name
And our
is
very
Christian.
special
I'm
guest.
not a coach.
And our special guest,
I can
Orie
tell you
Rush.
personally, he's coached me through many life decisions. I come to it with all my
Yes,
problems.
yes.